Yeah. So what we have done is yesterday, um, on a domain controller PC, the target machine was DC, my DC. So in this machine, what we have done is uh, we install a role called this is the role. I'll show you. So Active Directory Domain Services role has been installed. Okay. Post to that,
Yes.
we got here notification, right? So we clicked on
Yeah.
notification to run the wizard that is called domain controller installation wizard or configuration wizard, and we install the
Mhm.
we configured the domain controller as Tata. Okay, so
Okay.
post installation of Tata domain controller, we have here multiple tools. Okay, these are all the Active Directory specific tools. Okay, if you see, right? So these six
Yes.
are at least are Active Directory specific, and from the users and computers section, okay, you can
Mhm.
create your own OU. Okay, OU is a subdirectory kind of thing for you, basically sub
Yes.
administration, I would say. So example, you want to set something, a specific settings, or you want to segregation of your hardware region, computers, groups, and users. You can create it in such a way. Okay,
Okay.
and post to this, you do have something called group policy. So group policy management console, this is a group policy. So you would get it very similar to your this is for your entire forest. Okay, we talked about forest yesterday, collection of
Yes.
trees and and branches, we call it as a forest, right? So each
Mhm.
domain has its own settings. Say example, you want to set some specific settings to India region. Okay, say example here you want to disable the firewalls. Example, automatically. What you do is first step you go here. Okay, right
Okay.
click new group policy. Say example, you can name it a meaningful name. Disable. Okay, firewall,
Mhm.
and refer your documentation how to do the firewall disable. Okay, so that is
Okay.
the Microsoft documentation you can open. So this is the group policy editor. Okay, here you would have the two
Mhm.
options. One would be the computer configuration. That means whoever logs in, no matter either CEO or you or anybody, that settings would apply. Okay, this is called computer configuration. There's some other configuration called user configuration. So user configuration means if a user logs on any of the computer, okay, this
Mhm.
user logs in anywhere, okay, he gets the
Okay.
same settings. Okay, so that's called user configuration. So there are two types of configuration. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so now you want to set for the firewall, not for the user. You wanted to set for firewall for a machine, right? Normally
Okay.
the settings should be in a firewall, should apply for not for the user, should be for the machine. So somewhere here you would have the option to control the firewall option. So here policies. Okay, so you should know
Mhm.
where it could be the settings. Say example, you want to disable some kind of service, configure from here. Okay, you want to add some users
Okay.
groups, you can add it. Okay, so somewhere here under settings, you would find out firewall. So I really forgot, give me a second. System, no, it should be network Windows settings. Yeah, security. Here if you see here somewhere, firewall with advanced settings, right? So
Yes.
this is a setting. Okay, here you can create
Mhm.
your own policies. So in my case I just want to disable it, so I'm just going properties, and here nothing configured. I'm saying hey, turn off the firewall. Okay, for domain as well as for the private mode, uh, and also for the public. So three settings I'm just forcing to apply. So what would happen is, if you see here my current firewall settings, I don't have, see, I can manage it basically. See, I can change, enable, I can enable example. Okay, like this I can
Mhm.
do that, right?
Yes.
Huh? But I did just change it, so I lost the connection. Give me a second. Um, so that settings can't be modified later point. So I have enabled that setting, right? So what would happen is now I'm in a console machine, so RAP doesn't work. So now I'll just enable this also. Okay, enabled. So all the settings got enabled now, firewall. Okay. Now this is a rule we have done. We did modified on server. So let me do it on Windows machine, which is SCCM server, and show you. So here also I'm going to disable the I disabled earlier firewall. Now I want to enable back and set the group policy so that the group policy would enforce the settings for all these two machines. Okay,
Okay.
so that's a plan. So let's see. So currently it is off state, so I'm just owning. Okay, on. Say okay. So now everything is set. Now let me go back to my domain controller. So this is my domain controller. Come on, yeah, not this. This one, yeah. So in my domain controller, what I'm setting is now I edited group policy, right? So what I've done, I created here right click, okay, new group policy, and I gave a meaningful name. After that, I edited, and then the settings under Windows settings, you do have an option called Windows Firewall, right?
Yes.
So under properties, what I've done is I just turned off. But if you see the settings, this policy was just created here, but it was not linked. If I want to link it, I'll just go here and link an existing group policy. See, right click,
Okay.
link an existing GPO. This is the GPO, group policy object. Okay, so I'm just linking everywhere. Disable firewall. So this setting was applied at Tata. That means whatever the machines below Tata, it would apply. Okay.
Okay.
So if you want
Yes.
to force it, you can enforce so that this takes the preference even. Okay. So now let me, if I want to recall that settings to apply as soon as possible, what I'll do is GP update. Okay, and this GP update sometimes it doesn't work. If you want to force right // force. So now it will updating user policy. You know what is user policy. Later point it applies a computer policy. So for the computer policy, always it requires a restart restart of the machine. Otherwise it can't apply. But not for all the settings. Most of the settings works without reboot. But Microsoft, when it is prompting that you have to restart, you have to restart. For user
Okay.
settings, it is required a log off and login back for the user
Okay. Yes.
settings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I'm
Yes.
sure that the policy was applied. Okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
open the same command and see the difference. Firewall. So it says that this time, okay, there's something called for security reasons. It was managed by system admin and it got automatically disabled. Right? I've not done anything.
Yes.
Earlier I did enable. Right?
Yes.
Okay, same thing. I can do that now with my SCCM server. Or if I leave it SCCM server for 20 minutes or so, automatically the group policy would apply, and it says that uh, automatically it would apply, and the firewall settings would taken. See now at this point of time it is like this, right? So if I
Yes.
leave it for some time or if I restart the machine, it would apply the new policy. Or if I run GP update, okay, without force also it should apply the
Okay.
setting. If it is not applying, I can use a command called force. It says that group policy failed because the lack of network connectivity. Okay, so slash force. So for some reason, So there's some problem with the network domain and the set space. So it's not contacting the domain controller, in fact. Okay, I think it's better if I restart. It should contact. Okay,
Okay.
let's restart the machine. Okay, so internal, yeah, fine. This is also same network called internal, should be. And on my DC, so now my DC I can double click and connect because it was allowed. So once the domain controller has been installed, you would have another settings like DNS. Okay, DNS used for the name resolution. So there is a role called here tata.local is the zone. Okay, inside this all the
Okay.
computer related IP address would be mapping here. So this is the reverse lookup zone. So reverse lookup zone is for your uh, reverse IP address. Say example, um, I have the IP address series as my series is 172. Okay, 172.16.0. So I would just give this zone. Okay, so I can take this radio button, finish. Now, if I ping, normally reverse lookup zone is useful for ping 172.16.0. So what was the IP? Two, not one, I think, right? So let's see the what is the IP of 150. Okay,
150.
so 150 should ping, right? So if it is not, it is pinging, but it should ping with the name. So it will ping to ping with the name. Okay, to ping
Okay.
with the name, this will be useful. This is called forward lookup zone. So here there is a record, right? This is a record type is okay. What is a record type? If you see here, its type is A, right? Hello.
Yes. Yeah.
ఏమో మీరు చాలా లాంగ్ నుండి మాట్లాడుతున్నట్టుంది. ఓకే, నిన్నట్లా
లేదు.
లేదు. ఓకే.
సో నేను వేరే ల్యాప్టాప్ విండోస్ ల్యాప్టాప్ కనెక్ట్ అయ్యాను మేబీ దాని ఇష్యూ.
So this is the zone. Okay, so this is the IP address. So what we have to do is now we also need this machine should ping with IP address. Okay, so for that name
ఓకే.
resolution should happen. So for that reverse lookup zone should be created. So we create a reverse lookup zone and we can update by going to the properties and say update the PTR. So what would happen is if I go here and refresh, I get another record automatically created, something called PTR record. Okay, so now if I ping with this name, okay, it would also gives the IP address as this properly. So basically for reverse
ఓకే.
ping is IP based pings.
ఓకే.
Okay, so I should be able to see two of them. Yeah, if I don't see, I can what I can do is new PTR and then browse. Say example here domain controller is not showing. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go here and choose this is my domain controller. Okay, this is 01. I can update it. So now it will show me. Okay, and as I said earlier, you also have Active Directory sites and services. Okay,
ఓకే.
this one would gives you the sites like you may have um, a site is representation of your physical location. Say example, you might have say let me create here, right click new sites. Say example, I'm creating as Hyderabad one site. Okay, so I have an office in Hyderabad. Okay, also I have an office in maybe BLR example. Okay, maybe I do have this in maybe US one site example. Okay, like this you may have uh, multiple offices. So in each office, okay, say example, this is I'm taking as you know NL, okay, which is my region, Netherlands. Okay, so
Okay.
for example, if this is NL site, okay, what I will do is I have here server domain control. Similarly, in Hyderabad, there should be another domain control. If you promoted a DC to a DC in Netherlands currently, okay, and you are installing in Hyderabad another ADC, in that case, the ADC will come here. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Similarly, in the Bangalore case, similarly in the US one. Okay, so now
Okay.
in this region, what would happen is you have to create this subnet. So in my case, if you see here my IP config range, okay, IP config. So it is actually, uh, you know how to identify the classes, class A, class B, class C.
No.
No, it's very simple. Okay, easy to identify. Say class A you have, okay, class B you have, class C you have, class D. Okay, so
Okay.
remember, try to note down. A means 8, B means 8, C means 8. This is 8. This dot represents as multiplication. Okay. Now you
Okay.
multiply 8 4 times. What is the value you are getting?
32.
So that's why IP address is 32-bit. Got it?
32. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
if you see here, IP address, this is A, the first one. Next one is B. Next dot is C. Next dot is
Mm-hmm.
D. You know now what is A, B, C, D and where it is, right? Say example, your
Yes.
IP is 10 dot
Mm-hmm.
0 dot, okay, 0 dot 1. So this is IP. Okay. Now
Yes.
you tell
Yes.
me, okay, what is the values are filling, where the values are filling? Easy to say. This is
C.
only you fill A, so most probably this could be A, but this is not the right answer. Okay, but most
Okay.
probably this is the class A. Okay, but
Okay.
this is not the right answer, mostly only. Okay, just to
Okay.
tell for a layman. Okay, now the
Mm-hmm.
next thing which is uh, you see here one more thing. Eligibility. Okay, I'll just close this. Okay, once again I'll run. Now look at the next point is, the first point is here IP address, okay, but there is something
Mm-hmm.
called, something always we write, something called this one, subnet mask, right?
Yes.
So what it is? So it is the, say example, you have like this, okay,
Mm-hmm.
a box, okay, think that. So I'm writing the same value, example 10 0 0 1. So and down would you have your subnet. So if you write 255, okay, 0 0 0 example. So now the earlier I said, if it is filling first one, you can say that most probably A. Now another probability, which is a little bit sure. Okay, so if it is filling this value, this is also A, right? This is
Yes.
B, this is C, this is D. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so in other way, okay, in other way, here, here. So this is whatever you calculate, okay, whatever the numbers will
Mm-hmm.
come, almost 65 crore, 65 billions of some, range of comes, 255 into 255 into 255. So here the condition is basically, uh, either this block, okay, the starting value it is cannot be a 0, okay, here
Okay.
also cannot be a 0,
Okay.
okay, and
Yeah.
also here one more condition, ending should not be 255. So there's no ending
Okay.
255 here, so rule is matched,
Okay.
right? And next thing,
Uh-huh.
so if it is filling down, that is a class A. Okay, what is a class A? 10 255.
10.
So now
Yeah,
how
okay.
can I represent this? 10.0.0.0 slash 8 divided by 8. You know, right? I told each one is 8, right? 8,
Yes.
8, 8.
Yes.
So if I represent as 8, that means class A. If I represent 16, it's a
That's B.
another 255. Another 255 for 24. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now how it works actually in real world. Okay, how the communication would happen. So communication would happen simple. Nobody tells in this easiest method for you. If
Okay.
if you found something here 255, okay, you found here some value, okay, it can be 100 or some value, okay. I also
Okay.
found something called, here also I've written 0 0 0 0, or maybe here one example, okay, because we don't
Mhm.
want 0 at the end, right? So now this is a IP of a machine, okay.
Okay.
Now I'll take a blue. I have another machine, okay,
Mhm.
with the some other configuration. Let's see, I have 10, okay, so 0 0 5, okay, 0 0 0 2 5 5, okay. So how do you
Yeah.
represent this one represented by 10 0 0,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So by
Yeah.
8, and this one
Wait.
10 0 0 0, or whatever the 0 slash
Well,
16. You see
16.
here
Okay.
there is a difference, right?
Yes. 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 I got
So
you. Yeah.
if you have a machine as this, okay, you have a machine as this with this IP, both cannot communicate. And
Yeah. They won't. They can't communicate.
the reason the reason is both are in a different 8
Do-
or 16 is different, right? So this
Yeah.
is if you represent like this is nothing but a subnet, any.
Subnet.
Okay, what is the subnet of this machine? Ikkada e series lo, let me draw in pink color. Okay, so what is the subnet here? The
It's
subnet
10.
ID is 10 by 16, right?
10 by 2.
So this
Okay.
block is the subnet, any.
Subnet.
Or we also sometimes call network ID. Network ID means the machines will have the same series. If you see, you try to set, you got confused, how to set it for your virtual machines, right? So I said, whatever it is there on your local machine, try to set that. What I said is use the same subnet or network ID. Use the network ID is the same, okay?
Okay.
Only change
Okay.
the host ID. This part called host ID. Host
Okay.
ID. So what you have, some part called network ID, other part is
Perfect.
host ID. Host IDs
Host
will
ID.
change. Okay. So
Okay.
let me
Yeah.
represent how it is. Okay. Say now you have 1, 2, 4. So this block is network ID. For example, 10 255
Mhm.
255. Okay. 0 0 0. Now this is network ID. This cannot change. Eh?
This cannot change. Yeah.
If you change, what will happen? Machines doesn't communicate. Okay.
Community. Yeah. Mhm.
Right? So this machine doesn't
Yes.
communicate with another machine. Now, look at this. What is this? This is a host ID. That means one computer will have one IP, next computer will have two, three, four, like that it will reach to 255. What is the condition? You cannot have 255 at the end, right? So what will happen?
Yes.
Next oct. is 1, right?
Okay.
This becomes 1 and this becomes 1 again. Okay, so after
Okay.
1 what
Yeah.
will happen?
Okay. Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5,
It's
but this is still
it's
1 only. Okay, like
yeah.
that it will go.
And after
Yeah, 10, 0. For me it's very corner. After that it becomes 1. After that this is 1,
one.
then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, something like that, till
Yeah.
255.
Two.
Once it is reached 255, what will happen? This becomes 2
Two.
and this becomes
And
1.
it goes to two.
Then
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, then 255. Then this becomes 3. That means
Three. Yeah.
this becomes 255. This becomes as another 255.
Two.
So how many machines you can connect with this series? 255 into 255. Whatever the number comes, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's your
Yeah.
machines.
Okay.
So these many machines you can connect.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so people what they do is networking guys. Okay, not you. Okay, networking guys, what they do is they simply uh, they simply try to uh, configure a different way. They don't give you here like this. If you have 10 here, 255 0 0 0, they don't give like this. Okay, what they do is they
Okay.
fill maximum things here. Okay, so that very
Okay.
little bit machines will come into the network, so that the same series can be used in a different location. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so most of the time you find in the down as the subnet is 255, but sometimes you will also find 252, but you can't go for more than 255, but you give 220, 222, something like that. So the value is comes based on uh, LCS. You normally do like 255 LCS 2, 4, okay, 2 2 2 2, and then whatever the number like these you do, right? So here whatever the value
Yes.
comes, this is called LCS, right? So in that way, 0 1 0 1 0 ones it will fill, and they do that calculation and they fill that value, not you actually. Okay,
Okay.
now apart from all this, all the networking devices, okay, in this world are designed with a standard, okay, where
Mm-hmm.
everything was really uh, really follows the industry standards. Okay, you make any device, they follow some industry standards. Say example, there is a IP addresses whatever you have. Okay, the IP addresses, say example, very simple, your machine has 10 dot, you can set as 10.0.0.1 and I can set 10.0.0.1. If the both the machines are the same in the internet, it can conflict, right?
Yes.
So what they have done is the IP address or whatever have from 1 to 223 or whatever the range. Okay, they
Mm-hmm.
segregated from all these ranges to 4 different classes. Okay, that's called
Okay.
class A. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
class B,
Mm-hmm.
class C, class D. They segregated. The range has been segregated. What range?
Second.
That
Okay.
means for example 1 to 126 is class A. Okay,
Okay.
so
Mm-hmm.
if somebody is coming up from class A, it must be it must say that it must use from
One.
this series.
One. Two. Okay.
Okay, and also in this, okay, not all the machines, not the all the IPs can't be used in a public. So uh, you should actually what they have done is, in office premises you should use a specific range called 10 series from a. This is called private IP.
It's private one.
These are public. So public means internet connected devices can use 1 to 126. Out of this they took some range. Okay, what
Okay.
they have done, they took the some range. So that's called public IP నుండి కొన్ని ranges తీసుకున్నారు, that is called private range. Okay, so that's how they
Okay.
differentiated. Okay,
Okay.
IP address classes, okay, range, and so this should give you proper explanation. If you see here, these are the ranges. So 1 2, okay, so this
Mm-hmm.
is this is the class A, okay, class B,
Yeah.
class C. Okay, so these are the ranges they have taken as a private. That means inside office they use this. Why?
Yes.
Say example, you have a switch, you have a router, right, in
Mm-hmm.
your office.
Yes.
So if router has some other than this, for example, router has configured with this IP, the router designed in such a way, if this IP is there and you want to communicate over the another Yahoo server, for example, this is your this is your office router, this is Yahoo server router, so the communication should go. Yahoo is a public, right? So Yahoo is a public,
Yes.
you want to do some transaction, okay, with the IP. So with the 10 series, the packet would be dropped at this location because the router was manufactured in such a way that private IP address um, uh, has, whatever the private range of IPs, if it has a private IP range, okay, the packet gets dropped. What? Packet
The
gets
packet
dropped
dropped.
at this location. Okay, it can't reach to
Okay.
here. So that's why these will have some public IP. These will have a
Okay.
public IPs. Okay, so public IP, it can go everywhere. Otherwise, what would happen is, if you use some IP range, I use same IP range, so it would be conflict. To avoid that, internally, you will have your own subnetting. Okay, you'll have your own IP
Okay.
ranges and all those things. But when you are going out external, you should go with only public IP, which you buy it from your ISP. So example, if you see, if you have AT&T connection, okay, they may be giving you a static IP. That means you bought that, you're paying for that static IP. If it's a dynamic IP, you're not paying. Okay, the IP keeps changing. Okay, how do you get
Yes.
internet coming? Because you have a public IP. So either that public IP can be dynamic or static, but you have that IP. So your traffic, you have now on your laptop this range. If you see here, definitely out of this range you would have, right? You have, right?
Yes.
So in this
Yes.
range, what you have done, I think this is the one, right? This with this series you have, right? So with
Yes.
this
Yes.
series, you are actually using internet in your PC, but you have a device called router. The router, or maybe a dial-up modem, that has a public
Mm.
IP. So the traffic is
Public IP.
going here to Google or whatever. For example, I just browse this website. So what happened is, I'm sitting here. Okay, so my mouse.
Mm.
So I'm sitting here I'm browsing this website. So I'm actually going to the Google as a public IP, but to reach that, I'm going with a private IP to my router or my dial-up or my modem, and this has a public IP from here to reaching to some other server, maybe in this case Google, and it is written back, and from there to here coming a request to me. Okay, that's why if there is a cyber
Yeah.
crime, okay, they simply identify
Mm.
this public IP. Okay, so the public
Yes.
IP is
Yeah.
given by ISP, so they can easily track it, who has done what they have done. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the notable things. And what are the IP address ranges? Okay, so if you see the actual IP address range, okay, so you have uh, yeah, so you have another one. This is one more important one. So the total class A, I said, like you have four blocks, right? As I said,
Yeah.
A,
Mm.
B, C, and you have something called D, right? So
Yeah.
these are, A means 1 to 126, which I said earlier. Okay, here this
Okay.
is 128 to, okay, 191. This is
Okay.
192 to
Two, three.
223. Okay,
Okay.
and this is
Okay.
224 to 239. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so you will note it down this. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
now what would happen is class A, if you see if you see here little bit closely, what happened, first one is 1, next ending is 126. So if an IP address is coming from 1 to 126, okay, what happens?
Okay.
It's a class A, and from
Yes.
class
Yes.
A they reserved for private IP, right? That is 10 series
Yeah.
earlier,
10 series. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Similarly, from class B, what they have done here, 128 to 191.
190.
So what they have done, 172 they picked up, right?
Okay.
In class B.
Yeah. Private.
Class C,
Yeah.
what they have done,
Okay.
they picked up 192.
122.
That's it. Okay,
Yes.
there nothing
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
class C, class D, sorry, nothing from the class D.
Okay.
Now, if you notice, there is a 1 to 126. Okay, after that,
Yeah.
what should come? Actually, 127
One.
to
Yeah.
it should come, but
One.
there is
Yeah.
128 actually. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
What is 127? Before that, is there anything like that? No. 191 after that, 192, and then 223, and then 224 and 239. Okay, and also
Yeah.
some more also there. So those are the research purpose. Okay, basically. Okay, if you
Okay.
look at class D and E, okay, these are for the research and the multicast. Nobody uses these in your it may not come to you, but normally it comes class E, class B, class C. Okay, now
Okay.
the thing is 127 is reserved for local machine. Say example, maybe I'm sitting in my machine, okay, CMD.
Mm-hmm.
If I say ping, okay, local host, okay, oh, IP version 6, this is okay, ping, if I say 127.0.0. Okay, 1, it will ping. Okay, the reason is
Okay.
this is reserved for local machine. That means if you develop some application on your machine, the application
Mm-hmm.
will use this series 127
Okay.
series, and the application will run on that series. Okay, if I give here
Okay.
maybe 200 dot some random name, it still pings. That
Mm-hmm.
entire range was reserved. See, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
127 is for loop back, we call it. Okay,
Loop back, right?
yeah, loop
Okay.
back. So here, if you see here, loop back or local host, we call it. For example, this one.
Okay.
So it broadcasts internally. Okay. Earlier I said 888, right? So this 8 was represented
Yes.
like this, 1 1 1 1 1, like this, and this represents 8 as represented as 255.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
clear, I think. Okay, can we move forward
Yes.
from IP address?
Yeah. Yeah. We can. Yes.
So let's connect. So you see here now, after restart, okay, the machine, the firewall issue got resolved. Okay, now we are able to log in even from the remote, and the firewall also fine. This is PC. So Windows got installed here, Windows 7. I don't know what's the time shot, so I don't want to disturb. Now we'll jump into our super class. Okay, I want to show you all the possible errors while installation of SCCM server. Okay,
Okay.
okay, not just like click on next, and you get installed, so that you'll not learn anything if you do that. So I'm going to make you
Mm.
to learn, okay,
Okay.
really with all the possible errors. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, is that okay, or you want just the smooth,
No, no,
without
just
any confusion? If you want smooth, I'll go through the step by step and simply install it.
no, no, just explain with those errors and
Okay, so this is the SCCM CD. Okay,
all. Okay. Is the whole suite 2012 or just R2 something like that?
just a
Which one
2012
should I
whole thing.
install? Okay.
Okay. Let's see, I have not done anything other than adding to the machine. I know that, a lot of other pre-requirements are required. For example, ADK was not installed, no IAS, no bits, okay, no RDS, RDC, or, many things were, missing, okay, including SQL. Still, I
Okay.
just wanted to give a
Okay.
try to see what is missing, okay, with a proper
Okay.
way. Okay, so let's copy here as tvt gold.cm. You see here, it should copy. Sad it is. So the machine is configured. Okay, so you know how to add the IP address, right? So go to the
Yeah.
machine now.
Mm.
Whatever the IP series you have, you can add. So in my case, 172.16.0. I'm just saying. So if I try to give anything like 70780, it got 780 is not valid. You can only choose between 0 to 255, right?
55.
So I'm
Yeah.
just giving as 252 example.
Mm.
So that's true. 172.16.01, 172.16.0 dot 100. I think this is my DC IP. 100, and I have a Google DNS so that I get internet, and also I should here give my domain name, then only I can easily add to the .local to my domain in a proper
Okay.
way. Okay,
Okay.
so added these. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, close. Now I do have internet, this one. Got good. So now I can simply add the machine to the domain. Okay,
Domain. Yeah.
so domain
Yeah.
data. So what would happen? I should give the
Password for. Yeah.
the password of the domain controller. Okay,
Okay.
so it gets okay. This is added. Now CD just copy paste it to a folder, so that I'm going to remove the CD, insert the CD many times, as many times as I can.
Okay.
So the first thing is you can go for the splash. Okay, so
Okay.
here you have install button, you have download the pre-requirements. Okay, these are the some of the binaries that required during the installation. Okay, uh,
Okay.
that to be downloaded from internet. Okay, so
Okay.
that is this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and this is some other thing, third party kind of patches. If you want to push it, you would use this, but nobody uses this because this is was not updated from a long back. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so let's start installing. Okay, the plan is try to install the software first. Okay, and
Okay.
later I'll go through the all the features. Okay, what SCCM can
Okay.
do. Okay, and where are those modules. Okay, how we
Mm-hmm.
can utilize that.
Okay.
Okay, so first go for the installation, so
Yeah.
that during the installation I would talk on a few things also. Okay, so
Sure.
it says
Sure.
that first error you see here. Okay, when I click on that, hey, I need .NET Framework 3.5 SP1. Okay, and the log
Yeah.
file would be c colon config mgr setup.log file. So I'll just jump there. Okay, uh, before going there, yeah, see, I can go to c colon. What he said is c colon config mgr setup. So this is very easy to read actually, right? So he says that
Yes.
I've initiated this. I got error. .NET 3.1 is not installed. Okay, that's
Install.
fine.
Okay.
Say example. Okay, you have
Mm-hmm.
these many lines of code. Example. I'll open.
Okay.
So you have many lines, right? Can
Yes.
you say where you have errors easily?
We have to search for return value 3. Is that right?
Difficult, right?
Or
So
yeah.
difficult. So let me introduce some tool. You may be knowing. Okay, under SMS setup. Okay, you have a tools. Okay, there's a tool called
Okay.
CM Trace. So you
CM
just
trace. Okay.
double click this. So it says that to uh, it will try to open all the .log files.
Yeah.
Open with
Okay.
this default. Yes, so it's a good, you can simply choose that. Yes, so post to that. Once you have done that, if you go to the log again, it gives you
Mm-hmm.
to a good way, like
Okay.
if it's error, it says that error. Okay, if it's a warning, yellow. Okay, and inside this
Okay.
you have an option, error 305. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so we know now how to view the log. Okay, this tool is actually
Okay.
part of this tool is part of that. The CM trace is part of toolkit. Okay, toolkit is a collection of SCCM tools. Okay, with
Okay.
that you can do many things. Okay, which are developed based on out of SDK. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so in this case, the toolkit is free, available in Microsoft site, and out of that one tool called CMTrace, that is also available in a CD. So that's what I've shown you. So let's
Okay.
install the .NET framework. So in actually reality, what all the things you need is you have to go to the roles and features. You see here, you can install .NET framework. So .NET framework is a feature, not a role. Okay. So
Okay.
also you need IIS. Okay. Why you need IIS is your management point. Okay, which is your central policy server for clients. Okay, a
Mm-hmm.
management point gives you the policy for the client. Say example, hey, it's 12 a.m., you should install Office 2016 now. Okay, so that
Yes.
schedule information would be given by MP.
Empty. Okay.
Okay, so we
Okay.
call it as a management point. Okay, so to
Okay.
function that, it functions on IaaS. That means client will communicate over the website, internal website. Right? You every day open Google, Amazon, Hotmail, all those. Similarly, client always
Mhm.
opens a website internally, and it will get the required things from a SCCM server. So in SCCM server, there are
Okay.
different roles. We talk in detail later point, but just to give you the name so that you will remember for now the names at least. So management point provides the
Okay.
policies. There's another thing called DP, where example this is saying, hey, you have 12 a.m. you should install 2016. That's good, but where is the source? Source is available on DP. DP is a UNC shared folder. So example, this is a UNC shared folder, server one, and shared DP example here, a shared folder name called Office 2016. So you just download from here. Okay, this is where the source is available. So that source, it gets
Okay.
downloaded from DP. Okay, this download also works actually not over the UNC. Most of the time it would be on HTTP. Okay, so or HTTPS. Okay, the way you configure. So this is nothing but IaaS, right? The
Mhm.
HTTP server means IaaS, that's web server. So we need to select the web server also. Let's select that
Okay.
web server as a role, because web server is a role. Okay, you got it? So
Yes.
since
Yes.
we are in this, we try to take the web server. So if you go here down, you have web server called IaaS. So it says that I'm going to add all these things. Yes, fine, add. Okay, now here you have .NET framework. Okay, so if you
Yes.
select this, it doesn't come in on the down things. Okay, you should be able to select that, the required things, and bits is required. Okay, this is a component.
Okay.
This is one of the component where DP will use a bits. Okay, DP is what earlier I said, it's a UNC shared folder, right? Shared
Yes.
folder. So say example, I said, hey, 12 o'clock install Office 2016, but 12:30 I have a meeting. What? I have a meeting. So what I've done, I have a meeting in maybe in another office. So I'm just going over the one location to another location. So it is trying to
Mhm.
download till 12:15. Okay. So
Okay.
after 12:15, the user left. He shut it down the computer. So what would happen? He switched
It
here
will wait and
again the machine. So actually, if it is copied 10 percentage, what would happen? Or maybe say example 90% data is copied from a remote location, 10 only 10% is left over. So
okay.
when he comes back to the office, either this location or another location, it should actually start from
Mhm.
zero, right? Because the you copy pasted the data which is only 90% copied. After that, what would happen?
It's interrupted. Yeah.
It is interrupted. It should start. But if you have a bits, okay, it is an
Okay.
what is the name if you read? It is an background. Can you read this?
Intelligent transfer. Yeah. Background intelligent transfer service.
What is intelligent? It is intelligent that he knows that hey, I only 90% downloaded, okay, and that is downloaded as a job, okay, bits and pieces it will download, okay. In the next
Okay.
time when it
Okay.
connected, okay, the 10% only gets downloaded.
Okay.
That's why we need waits, okay.
Okay.
Okay, these are the things, okay, and there's something called remote differential compression. This is also required for the bandwidth management, okay, for SCCM server, okay, as a pre-requirement. Okay, if you don't select this,
Okay.
you will find out in that log file. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so you can note it down that these are the main things which we are selecting. Okay, post to this, you get more options in IIS. So here you can select. Earlier it was web dev was required. Now yeah, till 2007 web dev is required. Now no more web dev. Okay, and you can
Okay.
use dynamic content compression and authentication. At least you need Windows authentication basic. Okay, for some other features you can select whatever you want here. Okay, this is application category. You need .NET compatibility extension 4.5. So if you don't know anything, you take maximum things. There is nothing wrong, but
Okay.
in production, they give you exact things. So for that, I have a PowerShell script. If execute that, it gets install everything. You don't need to open even server manager and select all these. Okay, but I just want to show you manually. Okay, manually makes much sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise you don't know, what is happening actually. So here you should, it is must be taken everything here, otherwise it can't install, because SCCM still works on IAS 6 compatibility scripts. That's why you need these. Okay,
Okay.
code was still
Okay.
backend. Okay, so install. So this gets some time to install.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in meantime, let's have a look on our Windows 7. Oh, it's joined to the domain. Restart. Since it is joined to the domain, now firewall should be automatically disabled, and it is trying to log into the client PC, which we don't want. We want to log in with the Tata, right?
Yes.
So I should
Completely.
switch user here, Tata
Yeah.
slash administrator. Now you see here, the machine is installed, configured. So the firewall automatically disabled, right?
Yes.
So if I know what is the IP address, yeah, I'm sorry. Let's try to type ipconfig and see what is the IP address. So it's 252. Okay, client PC. Client is 172.16.252. Okay, so RDP should be enabled. So I'm just enabling RDP. Remote connection should be enabled. Okay, this is a client PC. It's good. So 712. 712. Okay, paste it. It's good. So my SCCM server, what is the status? It's still installing. Here looks like it got installed. Okay. So now IS got installed. Let's again try to run and get some errors. Okay.
Okay.
Install. This time we get a different way altogether. Okay. So here installation, we just choose a default. Okay. So it is asking for the CD key. We always go for the evolution copy. Okay.
Okay.
And these are the things which are required for the secondary site. I'll talk on later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it is asking for something called download the files. Okay. So which we
Okay.
already asked actually to you, you need to download something, get the latest config mgr update. So what I'll do is I'll simply get it from here now. Okay. And I'll store
Okay.
somewhere here on my computer called, I'll just create something called pre folder. Okay, and say download. So this gets download almost 50 plus files, which is in 1 GB. Okay,
Okay.
so take some time, let it download. So that what I'll do is I'll simply show that, hey, I have already previously downloaded. Okay, you no need to again download. Okay, because I'm going to fail this wizard. Okay, the wizard which is going to fail, right? Because we have not installed any of the pre-requirements. Okay,
Yes.
so we'll browse and we'll show. Okay, by the way, the
Okay.
design of the SCCM server would be like this. Okay, I'll talk on
Mm-hmm.
in detail later point. For now, just to tell you, say example, you have a head office. Okay, you have a branch office, you have a branch offices here. What you'll have is you'll have a top level site called CAS. Okay,
Okay.
earlier we used to call central in the past. Okay, now CAS.
Okay.
So you have in branch offices, maybe say example, here maybe around 10,000 users example. So you will have a something called primary, here another primary, another primary. So here also in the branch office or the head office, you have another primary. What would happen is all these sites would start reporting to CAS, including the one which is here. Say example, in this is maybe Indian business unit, which is Mumbai as the headquarters. Okay, but in
Mm-hmm.
Hyderabad and Bangalore you may have a small branch offices, say example. So in this region what you will do is you will have the secondary sites. Okay, when to place, how to place, I'll talk in detail, but the structure. Okay, let's have a look on the structure. The top level one is called CAS, the first site. Okay, to the CAS the primary would report. Okay, so like this
Okay.
primary. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and this primary, maybe in India Mumbai is a big office. Okay, and also have a branch offices in Pune, in Hyderabad, Bangalore and Chennai example. These locations would start reporting to this site. So, say
Okay.
example, there is a client which has pulled some information or required some information. It will pull from this site, secondary site. Okay, if the secondary site doesn't have a data, it will pull it from here. Or you set something here. Say example, you are pushing patches. Okay, you know what is patches. You're pushing some
Yes.
software updates or softwares. Okay, to the clients. I think. Okay, that would push from here to here and from here to here. Okay, that's how
Okay.
it works.
Okay.
Okay, the structure I would say. Okay,
Yes.
got it at top level. I've not talked about what is CAS, when to set CAS, what is the configuration of hardware. All those things I'll talk on later. Let's have installation so that while doing the installation you will understand some words, basic words.
Okay. Okay.
Later we can simply go through it.
Sure.
Okay, because we are
Yeah.
going to do it one more time, the installation.
Mhm. Okay.
It would be clear that time by that time. Okay, so in my case I think it should be downloaded already. Yeah, this is different. Okay, it's downloaded. Okay, so I'll just choose that folder which is pre. Okay, now it is just verifying. Okay,
Okay.
so if you look at the log file by this time, okay, setup log. Okay, so the log also, it's appending. The trees also have a feature called append. So if anything appends to the log file, you can still read that. You no need to reopen the file.
Okay.
Okay, now these are the options which are asking for the server side language packs. So I mean, SCCM Server Console also works in Czech Republic, Dutch, French, German, Hungary, Italian. All these, options console also available. Say example, if a user from German, okay, German
Mm-hmm.
SCCM admin, he can have his own console with the German language. Okay. In
Okay.
our case, we
Mm-hmm.
just want English, and these are the client side. So client side, there is a client console kind of thing. Okay, in the client machine, so that components will appear in their local language if you select all these. Okay, in our case it's
Okay.
just English. Okay, now it is asking a code. So a code is, I'll talk on a code. Okay, uh,
Okay.
say example, the top level one site is there. Okay, and a client is there, or any of the SCCM server would have a name.
Fine.
Okay, would
Mm-hmm.
make it as a code. Code means a client is there. For example, client will communicate based on a code. A code is, okay, called it alpha numerical. Okay, alpha numerical, like 1 0, or maybe S, or HYD, or BL, or maybe P01, or CAS. Like this, the naming can be given, so that the client will communicate not with the name. Actually, it actually always query to the code.
Site.
Okay,
Okay.
so we talk about code in a minute. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, say example, I'm just giving. So what's the server name? Say example, this is where you are installing. Say example, I'm installing on my Hyderabad region. Okay, so
Okay.
if that's the case, I would give this as a Hyderabad headquarters, Hyderabad,
Mm-hmm.
site. Okay, I'll talk on this also, how it looks like, uh, okay, in a minute. So this is, you don't have any cache sites, it's a single standard site. We'll talk later. Okay, now it is trying to query. I want to show this wizard, that's why, uh, actually, if you look at here, SQL Server name is required. So in my case,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a SQL, but if you look at here, it requires a SQL Server, okay, that to be
Yeah.
installed. Okay, and
Okay.
also it requires this port to be enabled in a firewall to allow the communication. That's called 4022. Okay,
Okay.
and in SQL Server, this is the database it is going to create. If you look at, if I click on next, I get an error. Okay, clearly, because it is trying to validate. Okay, it is trying to validate on
Okay.
this server, SQL Server, which I don't have SQL actually on that machine. And maybe firewall is disabled, I don't get error on this, but there's no SQL, right? So I should get
Yeah.
an error here in the log file. So creating SQL connection to the database masters, so which is not there, cannot detect SMS, because it's either the first time. Okay, SQL. From here I get an error. It will try for some time, and then it gets error. So I'm going to insert the SQL Server CD. Okay, so oh, 2 times to download it. Okay, what version of SQL you need also, I'll tell you all those. Okay, just try,
Okay.
think that you are not actually wasting, you're investing on the vocabulary. That's it. This class, the
Okay.
first 2 3 classes are basically investing to the vocabulary, so that something, all these things are there in the SCCM. Then when I talk about in depth, okay, it's easy for
Okay.
you to understand. So if you see here, it clearly says that SQL is unable to find out. Okay, so make sure that ports are connected, ports are enabled, and SQL Server is running. Okay, all those things. So in our case, what we do is, if you see here, we got errors saying SQL is not found. Okay, it was trying to connect, but nothing was there. Okay,
Yes.
so what I'll
Mhm.
do is now I'll click on OK, and I'll exit this. Okay, now if you see here, what is this? CD is not the one with the SP3 looks like, or just the SP3. Okay, skill sorted to SP3. Okay, looks like I don't have the server software. I have to download. Give me a second, let me download for you.
Sure. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I can't
Sorry, I
hear
was.
anything, so
So this is the
okay.
SQL instance name ID. Okay, client will try to connect with this ID. Okay.
Okay.
Now it is going to check for how much disk space you have, and then it will ask you to add the who is going to be the admin for this database. So definitely the current user. Okay, so it is
Mhm.
required this much of space, so it is required 612. It is there. Now we're going to fail actually this. Remember again and again. So the SQL reporting services uh, is running on a different account name. Okay, here on a
Mhm.
different account altogether. So these are not the best practices. Okay, but
Okay.
just to install the SQL, we are installing. Okay, post
Okay.
SCCM installation, we get an error. Okay, saying that hey, your SQL is running on some other SQL account. It shouldn't be the case. You should run with a either uh, NT service account, or maybe network account, or maybe a service account. That's what the best practice. So we want that error. So I'm actually ignoring this. I'm not modifying anything here. Okay. So this
Okay.
is not the right configuration. We will get an error later point. Okay. So later point also this can be
Okay.
corrected. Okay. Got it?
Mhm. Okay.
And if you see the collation is the feature. Okay. The language type. Okay. So this must be as this. Okay. So by default it takes that. Okay. If you
Okay.
change this, it won't install SCCM. So collation is, say example, you have a data type. Okay, in SQL table. Okay, in SQL database there is a tables. Okay, in table you are storing this dollar value. Maybe this is supported dollar, but there is a special symbol. Okay, like this. Okay, example,
Mhm.
this maybe symbol is not suitable. Maybe it is available in somebody's keyboard, but that kind of character cannot store here. So whether what kind of characters should store would be are decided by this collation. Okay, so
Okay.
SQL always the
Mhm.
client will send some kind of data, right? Definitely. So that kind of data would require this kind of collation to store. Clear?
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, this is the local admin administrator for your SQL. So I can add it. Click next. So SQL reporting services. Next. So this gets installed in a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll come back in
I can't hear you.
Yeah, this takes at least 5-10 minutes time. Okay,
Okay.
so you can take a quick break. I'll leave this machine as
Yes.
it is. Okay, and
Yeah.
immediate.
Okay.
Hi Satish. Nara?
Yeah.
So,
No.
okay. If you see here, the extracted folder getting, folders which are required SQL related.
Okay.
So this one would, automatically initiate it post to that. That's it.
Mhm.
Same interface. Okay, click on next. You can accept that, and it is a SQL one. Okay, so that's it. It will checking whether the services are running. Say example, your SQL user is updating some data on a table, example, and a SQL server. If you try to update,
Mhm.
what would happen is it gets crashed. So there should not be any SQL activities should undergo when you are updating. Okay, so
Okay.
that's the situation. So we are just updating that. So it was checked, nothing found. If anything is found, it will show you that this processor ID. Maybe if you don't know processor ID, here if you go to the task manager, it will show you what is the PID. Okay, say example, this is the CPU is running on these are all the things, but if your PID is selected, so this processor is running, that means the Outlook one, sorry, the trace one. So inside this, if any other things are narrowed down, you can see that. So like this, maybe SQL related, if anything was going on, you could have alerted that, so that you can close that PID, so that no actions would happen, and then you can update, so that no data are lost for the user, as well as it will not corrupt the patch. So we got the
Okay.
error as what was the error we got here? So it says that cumulative update. So service pack 3, what we are trying to install is SQL 2012 service pack 3. Okay, so SQL service pack 3 we are installing. So here, if you see here, SP3 with update 9, cumulative update 9. So you need to download cumulative update 9. Sorry, this is for 2008. Okay, this is 2008, and or cumulative update 2 is at least required. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
let's go to the internet. Okay, and see what is the SQL 2012. Excuse me, SQL 2012 uh, CU levels. Okay, so SP3 related cumulative updates are there. You have here. So service pack is different from cumulative updates. Okay,
Okay.
so service pack is a major version. Cumulative update is the minor version, which has all the bug fixes.
Okay. Mhm.
So SP3 cumulative updates. So this should be downloaded there, right? So what I'll do is actually I'll go to the next. In my case, it is 64-bit. Okay. Uh, this is the URL. Cancel. I would go to my. Yeah, I think I should have actually downloaded. Um, Start download. So it's downloading with a 50 Mbps speed line, 90 Mbps line. Downloaded. It's just a 15, 18 only. Okay. So that cumulative update I would also copy there. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll just open the folder. So this is the file which is CU3. So it's still updating SwissPack 3. Post to that,
Okay.
I would apply this patch. So I think I should paste here under SQL because I can't paste any root. So how do you patch in normally? So example, you have virtual machines, okay,
Okay.
or you have office, okay. Maybe in your office, how do
Mm-hmm.
you patch? Think like this, Tata has started a company, right? So Tata, when he has a 5 machines, what they have done is Microsoft, for your information, Microsoft releases patches every second Tuesday. What
Okay.
exactly? Second Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So
Mm-hmm.
once the patches got released on second Tuesday, we will go to the Microsoft Update site website, and we download and we
Okay.
install the all the patches.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, give me a second. sorry. So that code finished, and this is the CU3 update. Okay, we can update this
Okay.
way. So now let it go, the update. So this is also same case. It is actually checking for that any of the SQL status is running. If it is not running, okay, you can click on next, and then continue these steps. Okay, so this gets SQL updated. Okay, we were talking about Satish. You there, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, what's the time now there?
Uh, so around 8, 8, 7.
Oh, okay, 8:07. Cool.
Yeah.
So say example, Tata has started a company. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
5 missions you have. So what we'll do, Microsoft releases second Tuesday in a calendar. So example, second
Okay.
Tuesday means here, first Tuesday gone. Okay, second Tuesday is this, right? So this
Yes.
Tuesday, okay, patches got released in Microsoft site. So what we do, we update
Mm-hmm.
the patches. That is what he is doing. Okay, 5 machines. So how many
Okay.
patches released? Say example, 5 patches. So each of the size
Okay.
maybe, or example, an average 20 MB. Example, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying,
Okay.
exact MB. Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
altogether, how much? 100 MB,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So 100 MB
Yeah.
for each machine. So how many machines he has? 5. So 500
5 minutes.
MB is download. Okay. So Tata has,
Okay.
500, 5 machines too. He went to 5,500 machines. Example. So what would
Yes.
happen? This data size would go up, right?
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
the workload is very high on admin.
Yes.
He has to go and update on every machine. Okay,
Yeah.
otherwise what would happen? Like a ransomware kind of virus may come, and it would be creating a problems, right?
Yes.
So what is the best way to address? So Microsoft, what they have done is, Microsoft introduced something called, say, this is their update server in a cloud, or in maybe Microsoft site. This is called update
Okay.
server. Update.
Upgrade. Okay. So.
So this is your office. So you have machines here, right? So they
Okay.
release some another server called SUS, software. Okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
software update service. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so SUS they called. Okay, so I'm talking about the olden history of 2003 year. Okay,
Okay.
so they released this. So what happened is, all these machines normally going to the Microsoft site, right? Earlier. So instead of that, what we do is, hey, on a second Tuesday, Microsoft releases. So you why can't you
Mm-hmm.
check for Tuesday after the second Tuesday, like Wednesday, or maybe my service. I'm okay on 21st on SAP server to patch and reboot, or maybe on 29th maybe SQL DBA servers. Okay, like that, I
Okay.
can choose my dates. Okay, I can set some specific timings, okay, here on here as a policy. Okay,
Okay.
and these
Okay.
machines will actually, give me a second, color should change. So these machines actually gets updates from here.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I should mention here in a policy saying I have Windows 7, example here, example of Windows 10 machines. Also I have
Okay.
Office. Okay, example,
Mm-hmm.
not the Office actually at this point of time. SUS time is just the Windows update. So maybe XP 2000, all those used to go here and pull the policies. Okay, or the
Okay.
updates. So update, so this server will only go, I mean, here you're actually specifying what are the products you want to know as update. Okay, as
Okay.
a one time you're downloading that 100 MB once. Okay, In a LAN, you're distributing that 100 MB to all the machines, and you also have a flexibility and when to restart, when to update the patches, right? So this
Okay.
is called
Okay.
SUS. But the major disadvantage is you cannot push Office updates, okay, or SQL updates.
Uh-huh.
So what
Okay.
Microsoft has
Just a
done
minute.
is, okay, what
Okay.
Microsoft has done
Mhm.
is, if you see with the rate, they release something called WSUS.
WSUS. Okay.
Yeah, SUS got retired, okay, retired,
Okay.
and they released something called WSUS. Same thing, same, except SUS was only for OS, okay, only for OS. You
Mhm.
name it OS, that can be patched. With the
Okay.
WSUS, you name any product from Microsoft, it can be
Okay.
patched. You name any
Oh.
product, maybe Surface Pro, can be patched.
Mhm. Okay.
Anything from Microsoft, okay, anything, okay. So they
Okay.
release that. So this is the solution uh, on many of the organizations till date, okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
For what? Patch
Yeah.
management.
They just create the group policy, right?
Yeah, a
For
kind of
in
group
W.
policy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so click OK.
Mhm.
Now let's see this. This time it is proceeded, right?
Yeah.
So this time it is proceeded. So let's go here. It is asking for provider. I'll talk on later. Okay, don't worry about all those. Okay, so
Okay.
this is for HTTP based. If a client has a certificate, it can go for certificate. I'll talk on later. All these.
Uh-huh.
So I want some more errors. So
Okay.
post to this. Okay, I
Mhm.
got failures saying that hey, you don't have a schema. I don't know what is schema. Uh, I need
Okay.
WSS. You see this? I just talked
Yes.
about
Yeah.
WSS. Okay,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
So Microsoft, what it does is that WSS capabilities, it will integrate inside the SCCM, okay, so that it can
Okay.
patch. So nothing
Okay.
magic. Actually, it codes in the background, right? WSS. So
Mhm.
that to be installed, we need to install that. Also SQL running, as I said earlier, okay, this will fail SQL related, okay, because the service is running with non standard service method. So that to be changed,
Okay.
okay. And if you see here, USMT is not there, okay. And also
Mhm.
let's go down. So the memory, it says that if I double click here, it will say the recommendation, okay. It says that hey, your server is not as per standard. So it is set for maximum limit. I'll talk on that in a minute. Maximum limit is 2 TB. My Even though my machine has 16 GB, for this machine maybe 8 GB or something like that, but still it is going to use 2 TB. It try to use the 2 TB, so that to be configure. I'll talk on that in a minute.
Okay.
So it says that you don't have Windows deployment tools, okay, which is required ADK. So if you want to
Okay.
install ADK, you have to go to this link and install.
Okay.
Okay, the
Okay.
PE also part of ADK. These two are part of ADK, one, two, right? And
Yeah.
USMT also part of ADK, right? So three
Okay.
things will go off if I install what? ADK. So let's go to this URL. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So go to this ADK URL, okay, and
Mhm.
download. Okay, this is simple 1 MB file. However, if you see here, this is 1 MB, but when it is try to downloads from my internet, okay, it would be a 5 GB
Okay.
almost,
Fine.
right?
Yeah.
So let it download 5 GB. So it needs all these by default things. See here, you
Okay.
are selecting, you need USMT, so you have to select that, and PE tools is
Mhm.
required, so you don't need SQL Express. You need this
Okay.
assessment. You don't need even assessment, okay. You need PE tools, and you need
Okay.
this, you need PE, you need deployment toolkits. So total how many of them? If you see, six
It's
actually.
4, 6 years.
So here we have deployment toolkit, okay, and PE,
Mm-hmm.
USMT,
Yes.
VMAT you don't need, okay, performance toolkit you don't need, XPerf, and assessment you don't need actually. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
SQL Express Edition also you don't. So you are actually selecting only three for ADK 8.1. I'll talk on what is ADK and
Okay.
how this name came, what is wake. Okay, I'll talk on these in
Okay.
detail, but for now you should remember, there is something, he's installing something called ADK, right? ADK,
Thank you.
right? And the version is 8.1. If you can remember that, it is good. Okay,
Okay.
say next. So I'm just installing that, so it gets installed in a minute. Okay, so now you understood, how WSS works, right? WSS, what it is doing. So the client will a group policy, as you said, so based on that, policies or collection policies, it pulls the policy and
Mhm.
then, it install the patches, right?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, now what we'll do is, let me tell you how the Tata used to, work earlier. See, he has 5 machines, right? For Tata Office. So these 5 machines, he has to install operating system. What he used to do, he used to, get the software from DVD or CD, right?
Yes.
And connect the CD-ROM and install. Okay. When his
Mm-hmm.
machines are increased to 50, what he has done is there is a Windows role called RIS, Remote
Okay.
Installation Services. ఏంది?
Remote installation service.
సో ఇది ఏం చేసేదంటే ఈ రోల్
Mm-hmm.
హ్యాస్ ఎ capability of, for example, you bought a new machine. Okay, you went to
Okay.
the
Okay.
BIOS and you change the boot order to first boot device as network. Okay, network నుండి boot
Okay.
అవ్వమన్నాం అనుకో. If you have in a network, in your network, if you have a
Okay.
RIS, automatically
Mm-hmm.
RIS server will start asking to this machine to boot.
Okay.
Okay, even though
Okay.
even though this machine doesn't have any OS, there is no OS in this
Mm-hmm.
machine. Okay, still this machine
Yeah.
can boot because the boot files will given by RA server over the
All right.
network card. Okay,
Okay.
and then once it is
Mm-hmm.
booted, he'll get the hard disk will be visible, and in RA server you used to have all the operating systems. Say example, I want to install XP 2000, 2003, example, anything. Okay, that operating
Okay.
systems gets used to install on this remote machine.
Remote machines.
So this
Okay.
is how
Yeah.
they used to, install for 50 machines. If they have 500,
Okay.
same case. So
Yeah.
that time,
Okay.
what was there? SUS also there. Okay. So for
Okay.
patching SUS, for installation of operating systems, RIS. So
Yes.
soon what happened is Microsoft realized they want to deploy all kind of operating systems. Then they renamed this to
Mm-hmm.
WDS. What? Just the
WDS.
renamed Windows Deployment Services. Windows
Okay.
Deployment Services. Same concept, same. Like you did, right? SUS to WSS, same thing. Okay, there's no changes. Okay, there's
Okay.
no ultimate changes, but the folder structure is same. Everything is same. Okay, but it has more capabilities
Yeah.
with the WDS. Okay,
Okay. Uh-huh.
so here the takeout would be, if you have a multiple operating systems to be deployed without SCCM, what is the way? Earlier RIS, now
All right.
WDS. Okay, na?
WDS. Okay. Okay. Without
Now,
SCCM,
sorry.
no, SCCM అవసరం లేకుండా RIS WDS
మరి
యూజ్
అంతే
చేసి
కదా.
deploy.
ఎస్సీసీఎం అనేది ఏందో తెలుసా? ఎస్సీసీఎం ఇస్ నథింగ్. ఓకే, ఎస్సీసీఎం ఇస్ నథింగ్. ఆల్ ద ఫ్రీ టూల్స్ ఎర్లియర్ ఉన్న వాటిని ఒక దగ్గర పెట్టాడు. అర్థమైందా?
Okay.
అదే
Okay.
చెప్పబోతున్నా. సో నౌ
Okay.
that WDS is integrated into SCCM.
Okay.
So now you can deploy the operating systems with a more controlled way.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
how. Okay,
Okay.
close. So now if I rerun, you see the tree will go off. Okay,
Okay.
but still I have schema, I have WSUS. Okay, so it says that, hey, you
Mm.
don't have a WSUS. Okay, so everything
Okay.
is done, but ADK is gone now, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
now let's go to the WSUS. So WSUS is what? if I double click here, it says that config mgr requires WSS 3.0 sp2 with these two patches. Okay,
Okay,
these
sure.
are critical patches. What happened is, all these days Microsoft have a WSS update server, right? Here they did some
Yes.
changes to the update server. Okay, so
Okay.
our local WSS server cannot work with update server until you fix these two patches.
Okay.
We got it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they
Yeah, yeah, got it.
decide. So let's see, if you want to install, what you can do is you can go here, okay, to the
Mm-hmm.
URL, okay, download that 90 plus file, okay,
Okay. Okay.
or what you can do is you can simply go to the, come on, okay, is it okay? So you either go to that URL, but URL is not working, okay. If not, you can just simply go
Okay.
here, add roles and features.
Okay.
We did use this roles wizard earlier for installing IAs, right? I'm going to show you
Yes.
now. I'm going to use the same one for,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah. We installed the web server, right? Now I'm talking about
Yes.
WSUS.
Yes.
Yes.
US.
I did
Yes.
told earlier WDS, right? So if you enable
Yeah.
this,
Mm-hmm.
okay, as a
Okay.
standalone, okay, I can configure, right? So I have not yet
Yes.
installed SCCM, right? Still I'm installing
Yeah.
what? The basic things from my Windows roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got it, right?
Yeah.
So I can install
Mm-hmm.
here WSUS. So click OK,
Okay.
install. Okay, so this gets WID is Windows database. So what happens is all the patches gets downloaded to WSS server.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
this requires a database. Okay,
Okay.
so how many
Mm-hmm.
patches installed, how many patches not installed, how many downloads, something like that. It has to maintain a DB, right? So this DB
Yeah.
is a free DB. SQL Express Edition can be used, but in a real world
Okay.
they don't go for Express Edition. Okay, Express Edition or Windows database is nothing but WID. WID means Windows
W.
database. Okay, so I don't want that. Okay, I want my own database. I have a database, right?
Okay.
I install SQL database
Yeah.
here, so why can't I
Yeah.
use that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so next,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm saying where the patches should download. So I'm saying
Okay.
in future, if I download something from WSS console, okay, it should
Mm-hmm.
download in WSUS. Remember, whatever
Okay.
we have done, including mission creation, I will do it once again. I'll not leave
Sure.
it.
Sure.
Okay.
Look.
So where is the DB? DB is on the local machine. So what is the machine name? Machine name is INHYD uh, Tata
Dot.
DC01. If I'm correct.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see if this is a one or not. CMD. Yeah. In fact, here not the
Yeah.
DC actually. CM01.
PM01. Yeah.
Yeah. You see here, this is the server we're targeting and we should give the proper one, right?
Yeah.
So
CM01.
it's a connection. So it is successfully connected this time, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'll do is I'll just take next. And if required, you do a restart, that's fine for me. So install. So now what will happen is it is going to the internet, okay, to
Okay.
pull the required binaries, okay,
Okay.
and it will
Okay.
install the WSS services.
Okay.
Okay, installation, at least you're getting half of the part.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because again what I'll do is in this machine I'll create VMs, 3 VMs. My DC I'll create my SCCM server, I'll create my client machine,
Okay.
I'll rejoin, I'll do everything. Okay, for
Okay.
2012. Let's
Okay.
do it once again for the 2012 with all the binaries.
Okay.
Okay, what we have,
Sure.
and then
Okay.
and then we can try 2016 latest versions, including the upgrade
Mm,
path if you are interested.
okay, sure.
So I think I did already. So in meantime, we can see during the copy paste time. Uh,
Okay.
so now I'm gonna extend the schema as I said. So to create that container, I need some
Uh-huh.
editor. So the editor would be actually I can open the schema file, schema editor, but that is
Okay.
too difficult to open edit. So there is another tool which is given by
Okay.
Microsoft called ADSI Edit. Okay,
It is.
okay,
Okay.
this is another tool. Okay, not the schema tool, but you do the
Okay.
same things. So right click here,
Okay.
connect, default everything. Okay, okay, double click.
Mhm.
Okay, this is coming as very similar. If you see here, same, right? This
Yes.
one is same,
Yeah.
right? This is the actual
Uh-huh.
view, but this is canonical name or container name. Okay,
Okay.
equivalent to
Okay.
something like this, right? So it was created by
Yes.
Microsoft, all this. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll go to the system here. If I new, I don't get
Okay.
anything here. See, I'm not getting as a container,
Yeah.
but if I do here,
Okay.
right click, new object,
Wait. New.
here, container.
Okay. Object
So here I give as system.
management.
So the spelling should be correct.
Okay.
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 So this URL and this thing should be created, right? So let's go back to the server. Okay, you look at that. It was talking
Mhm.
about, okay, do you have, okay, it says that do
Okay.
you have the system
Permissions.
management container? So I'm just copying once again the same container because I don't want to play anything wrong. Okay, so as it is should be there.
Okay.
Okay, system management, next finish. Okay, now I have two
Okay.
options. Now
Mhm.
I created system management here. If I do refresh here, it will be
Okay.
appear. Okay, that's a secondary
Okay.
one, but
No.
the next step would be granting permissions. So how do I grant? So I can go here, properties, security,
Okay.
or okay, if I feel that this is too complicated, because it can simply rename. See, it's getting easily renamed.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's too complicated tool, right? And you're editing schema is nothing but your heart. Can you open your heart and do all those things? No, same thing, we just simply close there. Once the work is done, it is still not there because I've not refreshed. I refreshed, it is there now, right? Go to the
Yes.
properties, I'll
Okay.
play around here.
Okay. Uh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so advanced.
Okay.
Okay, here I can add, say, or I can simply go add here. Okay, here I'm selecting as a computer. Okay, so if you have a AD group, if you have created AD group and add all the SCCM servers there and give that AD group also works. Okay, so now I
Okay.
have CM01 is a computer. I'm saying full permission, but this is
Mhm.
not enough. Okay, okay, so
Okay.
here properties, it was talking about the document also talking the same thing. First add this and go to the advanced. Okay,
Okay.
the steps are critical. Okay, and select whatever that one you're you know you want to edit. So
Okay.
example, this one, I'll say edit. Here
Mhm.
what is happening is it is actually allowing full control, but only for that object. But in our case, it creates the child objects also inside that. So we need full permission
Okay.
to the this object and also the all the child objects. I'll take that,
Okay.
click apply. Okay, so apply. Okay, now I have the full permission. Okay,
Yes. Okay.
but this does not have any template. See, this under this I said there's a template like Google one, I did show
Yeah.
you, right? Some kind of template.
Yes.
These templates are not there. So to do that, what I have to do is I have to go to the SCCM server, or let's try to
Okay.
access, uh, yeah, CM01, I think in C dollar. I have a source, SCCM source, right? So let's take
Yes.
the SCCM source. Under this bin,
Uh-huh.
okay, under
Bin.
i386, there's a file called extension extension ad schema.
Okay.
Okay, copy
Uh-huh.
this, okay, somewhere to your machine, local machine, that is your Active Directory machine, okay,
Okay.
and execute it. So
Okay.
in my case, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to execute from root directory. Okay, so example,
Okay.
I just open the command prompt and did
Mhm.
extend. So command prompt, the reason why I'm doing from the command prompt is I want to show you this as output. Otherwise, I could have actually double clicked that. Okay, so there is a log automatically creates
Okay.
all the time you execute from any location, but the log file creates on a C drive. Okay, it says that these are all the templates got created, like site code, boundaries, roaming boundaries, MP, device management, MP
Okay.
address, health manager, all those things got created for you. Okay,
Okay.
but
Okay.
unfortunately you can't see. It got created, but unfortunately you can't see here. If you're maybe I try to visualize for you, it will be there some templates, but nothing now. Once the SCCM server install, the templates, once the objects are filled, it will be available there. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
until that time you don't see. If you want to see, you should opening the schema, okay, and there you would see. Okay, you count this, uh,
Okay.
example 1 2. Okay, this is the one. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17, approximately 16 to 17 it got created. Okay,
Okay.
so there is no change on this. So now if I go back
Mm.
here, I may get the same error, in fact. Okay, because I have to rerun, I have to log off and log in, but sometimes it will go off, sometimes it doesn't go, but at least one error I may get it, that is do not have a permissions sometimes. Okay, because the
Okay.
membership is not changed. Okay, so in this case it is actually taken that, except the one error which is memory, which is talking about
Now you.
you must to have that uh, of 8 GB minimum, maximum. Sorry, the starting should be 4 GB. Okay, minimum, and this is what. So I don't have 4 GB, so I can't for that 4 GB.
Okay.
That's a different story.
Mhm.
Okay, now if I start begin install, it gets installed. So what we have done? Okay, let's go back. So what we have done? We enter the CD. Okay,
Mhm.
right? Let's
Yes.
review. We enter the CD DVD. We run this.
Mhm.
Okay, so this has actually
Right.
triggered under this. Okay, there's a setup
Okay.
file.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a setup file. Okay, um, that setup file was triggered. Okay,
Okay.
this is for only console. If you want to install console, you'll be using that. Okay, let's filter with the application. uh, Applications. Okay, so it is actually triggering. Not even this. Yeah, so it is actually triggering this one. Okay, setup file.
Okay.
Okay, when we click that,
Mhm.
and after that it is asking, so now you want a typical installation, that means only these are the configuration would happen. Okay, so
Okay.
if you
Okay.
don't select this, this is going to be a custom installation. So we have
Okay.
checked the custom installation. Okay,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
license key, if you have a license key, then accept your license. These are the
Mhm.
things which are required for the um, secondary site and few other features. Okay, so these will it
Okay.
will also get installed. I mean, it will accept the licenses, because say example you are pushing remotely. Okay, to the client. So
Okay.
client requires Silverlight. Okay, so you're pushing. So
Okay.
user cannot accept this license agreement. So you first accept these license agreement. That's what it is trying to say. On behalf of user, you are accepting the licenses. And now these are the binaries which are required, which are almost 1 GB. So if I go back to my C drive pre, okay, so these are the 59 files, almost 1 GB. Okay, so 672 MB or 700 MB, okay, on a disk.
Okay.
It has downloaded, okay, and that
Okay.
files it will check it, the hash and all those things. So
Okay.
most of the time, if you choose the top one, okay, the top one,
Uh-huh.
so it will
Okay.
download from internet, but during that transferring time, okay, from internet, if a hash file changes, okay, it fails. That's why I
Okay.
downloaded manually first and chosen.
Okay.
Okay, this is for the
Okay.
SCCM console language, okay,
Mm-hmm.
a post
Mm-hmm.
installation, and the other one is the client language, okay, on SCCM console,
Okay.
on SCCM client side language, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did use the site code, which is a representation of a code. If you remember, this code actually, what will happen is this code will fill under, okay, under my my Active Directory here. Under
Okay.
system, it should come. How? It
Okay.
will come like this. See, SMS site hyphen code is, what is the code?
Serious.
CS, right? The code will
Yeah.
come here. Okay.
Okay.
What is the
Okay.
management
Okay.
point name? My SCCM server name. That would come here.
Okay.
Okay. My MP
Okay.
name.
Yeah.
You're getting now, right?
Okay.
Little bit.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so this is what happens. Okay. So click next. Now, if you have already another site, say example, I told multiple sites will be there. So example, this one has
Mhm.
another site. So this one. So is this site, if you are installing here, you would say, hey, I want to join to this machine, right? Okay. But
Yes.
in our case, we don't have anything. This is the first thing, right? So for your information, standalone site, single site can support up to 5 lakh machines. So more than enough, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just go for standalone. Okay, say that's fine. Later point also you can change. So this is what
Okay.
it is trying to install the SQL server, sorry, SQL checks. So it verify whether you have a SQL server. If so, it's going to create a database in SQL cm.cas. So if you see here,
Okay.
there is no database now. Under this, there's no database called cm
Yes.
hyphen cas. Okay, if you want to
Okay.
rename to a different thing, you can rename it, but it's not a best practice. Okay.
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
we normally just use the default one. Okay, anybody
Okay.
uses the default one. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
simply click next and make sure that this port is allowed in your firewall.
Okay.
Click next. This is where the SQL database uh, on or the log files going to be stored. Okay,
Okay.
and this is your provider. A provider is a big class. I'll talk on this. Provider is nothing but say example, you want to connect to this machine from a SCCM server, okay, or something to be pushed to this server from server. This is a SCCM server. I hope you know already. Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost the internet connectivity. Okay, running with the backup line.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is basically I was talking about the provider. Provider is a very key actually. Say example, you have a SCCM
Mm.
server here. Okay, this server
Okay.
uh, client is there. Okay, you're pushing some software here. So who is the core responsible is taking is provider. Okay, so that's why it is
Provider.
asking
Yeah.
where to choose. Okay, And the client to server, as I said, many times, the SCCM server works on IaaS, right? That's why we install the web server role, right? You remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
client, communicates with HTTP protocol. That means normal. If you want HTTPS, you need to have another thing in your Active Directory called certificate authority. Okay, this role should be enabled, and three different certificates should be allowed. One for the client, one for server, one for web server. Okay, so these
Okay.
three certificates should be enabled. If you have already enabled, you can go for only HTTPS. But almost everyone, they go with the uh, first HTTP. Okay, then
Okay.
they migrate to HTTPS. Okay,
Okay.
with the latest versions of SCCM, actually, these configurations are not required. uh, you know
Okay.
Limited PCs can be also communicate with the HTTPS. So by having HTTPS example, you are the end user. Okay, you are traveling from Amsterdam to maybe somewhere in Michigan. Okay, so in
Mm-hmm.
that case, you just left the office. Okay, some office was, as I said, in the past example, 90% of Office 2016 package was downloaded to this user. So when you are in the airport, okay, when you're working, while you're working, you also connected to internet. Okay, but you have not
Yeah.
connected to Office. You have not connected to
Mm-hmm.
a VPN. You are not connected to anything, but you are simply browsing, or maybe a Facebook activity, or some other things you are performing. That time also, our SCCM server, which is in our on premises, that would push the remaining 10 percentage, and it gets installed automatically
Okay.
here. So that means over the
Okay.
internet also you can manage the clients if you have HTTPS. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so over the internet based clients. Okay, so in
Okay.
our case, we are actually choosing HTTPS also. If the client has a HTTPS, use HTTPS. If client does not have HTTPS, okay, choose HTTP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the
Okay.
configuration this. And
Mm-hmm.
you want to join for customer experience program? No, I don't want. And this is my summary. And now if I say begin, it actually now it will check the pre-request. Earlier what happened is,
Okay.
we got errors
Okay.
directly, but prior to that, as with the common sense, we always try to best, like installing IAS, SQL, all those things. Later,
Mm-hmm.
here it will again revalidate everything. Okay, to
Okay.
see you have
Okay.
everything or not. So if you have everything as
Okay.
a green, then you begin install.
Okay.
Okay, so let's begin
Okay.
install and see the console. So this would take easily 30 minutes time. Okay, okay, take 20 minutes
Okay.
break and come back.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, 15 to 20 minutes you can
Mm-hmm.
take a break. Okay, I'll not close the
Okay.
session. Okay, I'll just leave it
Okay.
in a mute. No, since the console is installed now. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
the the better way would be, you can maybe you can take a immediate basis of notes at the high level. Okay, which I'm gonna talk.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so very very important one, and this is for the first time we do it. Okay, after that, I would say post this installations, or the post this class, you will have really very good understanding. Okay, really
Okay.
very very good understanding. So I'm going to talk a few words, actually not the on anything. Okay, just the words, vocabulary. Okay, once you know those words and the meanings, okay, we will explain SCCM. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so first thing, maybe right, SCCM features. Okay, let's just if you go for normal SCCM features. Okay, uh, just the rough. Okay, but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
we are gonna look into the uh, we're gonna look into the here, but just to tell you here at the high level. uh, okay, let me give you a rough way. So the first thing is why you need SCCM. Okay, now Tata
Okay.
has 5 machines. Okay, from 5 to he
Mm-hmm.
has increased to 500. Still, he's good with the managing WSS or maybe uh, WDS, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not for the softwares. For the softwares, if you want to push it, okay, you can still push from the group policies. I did not talk about it, but yes, you can very well do from the group policies. Okay, say I'll show
Okay.
you in a rough way. Where is the group policy? G for group policy. Yeah. So you can actually push from the group policies also the softwares. Okay,
Okay.
but that is again a complexity is there. Okay, say here for example, if I edit here software settings, here if I give
Mm-hmm.
my package, that is my MSI file, okay,
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
just target this group policy wherever you want, okay, then that gets install the software automatically on the target machines, but this does not
Okay.
have full control. Okay, so
Okay.
Tata, a company, is looking for a dynamic solution. Okay, even though when is increasing to 5,000 machines, example. Okay, so they started
Okay.
from 5 to 50, 50 to 500, 500 to 5,000. So to manage this kind of bigger environments, okay, you need SCCM. Why you need SCCM? What it does? Okay, so it does few things. Uh, it can remotely manage the machine. Say you can connect remotely this machine, that is,
Mm-hmm.
you can take the remote control of the machine, okay, with user permission or without user permission. Okay,
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
chat with the user while taking the
Mm-hmm.
remote, or
Mm-hmm.
you can transfer files to the machine, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or you can execute some commands on a remote machine. Okay,
Okay.
so it would be very helpful for your help desk, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's one of the role which I wanted to tell you is a help desk team depends on SCCM to take the remote users machines as a
Okay.
remote control. How they do is very simple. They just simply go to the here assets. In
Mm-hmm.
assets you have something called collections. I'll talk on it later point, but for now take it as hard. Okay, no, not a problem. Just to imagination purpose to you start. Here I have the remote control of the machine, so I have here
Okay.
remote control. I have a remote assistance. I can do the RDP. Okay, and these
Mm-hmm.
are the things which I can do it. Okay, this
Okay.
is the one option. Okay, I'm going to talk next thing. You can actually take the inventory. What inventory? What is the inventory? Inventory is like a checklist. So what is there on the machine? Say example, the machine can be hardware. So what is a hardware model? Okay, what is a hardware model? What is the make of hard disk? How much RAM is there? How many CPUs are there? Okay, these are
Okay.
hardware related inventory. So inventory can be, I can differentiate uh, inventory. Okay, inventory, I can say that it can be a hardware inventory. That means the machine, physical machine information, right? Say
Okay.
example, today you
Mm-hmm.
have 4 GB of RAM. Your company decided to go for wherever you have a 4 GB, wanted to replace with the 8 GB. So you need a list.
Okay.
Can you give me that? Yes, you can get it from SCCM.
Okay.
Okay, this is called
Okay.
hardware
Mm-hmm.
inventory. There's another thing
Okay.
called software inventory. Say
Okay.
software inventory is what softwares were installed on these machines. Okay, how many machines
Mm-hmm.
have
Okay.
Yahoo Messenger? How many machines have Chrome? How many machines have Mozilla? How many machines are using, say example, you bought a QTP license. QTP, it's a testing tool, okay, which is more than
Okay.
1 crore of for each user license, okay,
Okay.
because
Okay.
it's most into the most costly because of the automation side. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
you bought 100 licenses, you invested 100 crores, but there is a demand of another maybe 5 users or maybe 15 users licenses. So your company says that, hey, are there really 100 users using? If somebody asks, can you give me the inventory? You can't get that. So to get that exactly, say example, for the namesake, honestly, you can self justify how many times you access PowerPoint in your day-to-day life, but still you paid for the PowerPoint, right? You never create the
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentations. right? But you
Mm-hmm.
simply work on a Word and maybe Excel, very rare. Okay, Excel also.
Yeah.
Word maybe
Mm-hmm.
good. PowerPoint. How about Access? Okay, these things you rarely use the programs. Okay, but you know s- other business units might require as a demand is there for them. They really need the licenses to accommodate. So to do such things, okay, what you can do is you can go for software metering. What? So
Software meter.
inventory, I'm talking about hardware inventory, software
Mm-hmm.
inventory. Now I'm talking about
Yeah.
software metering. What is a meter? Meter is a measuring, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
you are measuring how many users really used. If so, how much time
Okay.
they used, how many hours.
Okay.
Say if
Oh,
that fellow was using only 10 minutes, okay, ask them
okay.
to get out of this tool. You don't need,
Okay.
if we paid for 100 crores, okay, for this entire licensing cost, and we're giving
Mm-hmm.
to you, and you're using only 10 minutes,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, such things you can get it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I talked about the inventory. I talked about, software remoting. Okay. I want to push uh, this software, okay, XYZ software to my all the machines. Okay.
Okay.
So if you install manually, each software takes maybe 30 minutes time. So if you have 500 machines, it's still 300 and 3000 minutes time. Okay, again without rest, right? Normally. So instead of that, what if I can automate that? Yes, very well. You can do the automation of the softwares. Okay, so that means remotely you can install the softwares and you can perform some steps too. Okay.
Okay.
So you
Mm-hmm.
can install silently the software. Okay. The user says,
Okay.
I want Office. Give me in a minute time. Okay. So we will,
Okay.
schedule that. Okay. Accordingly based on the agreement with the users. Okay. Say I
Mm-hmm.
don't want this software to be installed until 15th of, maybe November. You can do that.
Okay.
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 And for patching. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to, patch all the machines. Okay. You can do that
Okay.
patching. Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
what are the things we talked about? We talked about the inventory. Inventory is three types, right? Hardware,
Software hard
software, and software metering. Okay.
metering. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think you're noting down, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is important. Okay. And remote, that's a for help desk. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we talked about software distribution. Okay, so you install the
Okay.
softwares to the different regions. Maybe it can be Asia Pacific, or maybe just to the Australia region. Okay, AU region, or maybe Middle East. So wherever you want, you can simply distribute the software, and it gets
Okay.
deployed automatically. And also you have patching. So patches also can be done so that you maintain the second pass Tuesday patches, or push to all the machines. Okay. And
Okay.
next one would be the definitely operating system deployment. Okay, so you want to deploy operating system, you can do it. Say example, you have Windows 7, you want to upgrade to Windows 10, you can do it. You bought just the Windows 10, a bare metal machine. Bare metal, a new word, write down. Bare metal.
Okay.
Bare metal,
Very
there
much.
is nothing in that, it's a metal. Okay, bare metal machine,
Okay.
there's no OS. You deploy the OS without
Mm-hmm.
doing anything. And along with the OS, you install all the required softwares automatically. Okay, these are all the
Mm-hmm.
limited feature which I was talking about. Okay, there is something called
Okay.
asset intelligent. So what it does, asset intelligent does you know actual inventory. Okay, it's more powerful than the normal inventory or the software inventory. Okay, I'll talk
Okay.
on a later point asset intelligent, but for now I can give you one best example. You bought from Microsoft uh,
Mm-hmm.
from the year 2000. Your company established in 2000 till date. You are buying. What, how many
Okay.
exactly licenses you are using actually? Do you know that? In your company you bought Windows
Mm-hmm.
7, maybe uh, maybe 1,000 users license. Okay, 1,000 Windows 7 copies. Did you
Okay.
install, how many copies you install actually? Or say example, you bought SQL Server. Okay, how many
Mm-hmm.
of the SQL servers you bought it? Okay, actually from Microsoft, and how many you are using. So there should be a, a, table. Okay, there should be a table. Okay, I'm talking about table. um, actual, okay, count, and actually you bought from Microsoft, and actually you found. So like,
Okay.
you do the plus or minus, okay, and give me either
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a minus or in a plus.
Okay.
Okay, this must be matching with my auditor report.
Mm-hmm.
If my auditor comes, if he asks, give me exact list with the plus and minus, simply run some report and get that. Okay, for that, this is the, asset intelligence gives that information. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
what if you want all, for all of these features you want a reports, you can get that reports. Okay, so example, you
Mm-hmm.
have I'm talking about compliance now. I talked about asset intelligent, there's a feature, write down that
Yeah.
one word, asset intelligent, write down as a
Mm-hmm.
compliance manager, okay, as a one word. Say example, your all company machines should have a baseline. When I talk about baseline, okay, the baseline is
Mm-hmm.
antivirus, right? All the machines should have antivirus. All the machines should have C drive, no permissions, okay, on a root, but subfolder should have a
Mm-hmm.
root permission, okay, or
Yeah.
some MS Office, okay, Office
Mm-hmm.
2016 should be there with some update. All machines should have XYZ patches, okay. This is your baseline,
Yeah.
okay. Example, these are the baselines, okay. When I say baseline,
Okay.
is some kind of custom settings or custom softwares. You must
Okay.
have to, saying that, your company must have all those, all the
Okay.
machines should have those baselines. So to create that baseline,
Okay.
if a machine is not have that baseline, you get it, automatically install that baseline. Okay, say example, somebody
Okay.
has, removed IAS should not be available on a group of machines. Say example, this machine should not have IAS. Okay, but
Okay.
on a server, think about it, server shouldn't have a IAS because, you're opening port 80 for external. So you create a baseline, okay, run that baseline. Okay, if you found port 80 is opened, okay, run another
Mm-hmm.
script to, close that port.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is called, complaints manager. Complaints manager would, set some baselines. Okay, you create some baselines. That baselines would be monitored. If found as non-complaint, okay, it's non-complaint, then remediate. I used
Really.
actual English words. Okay, if you try to, make them as complaint. If non-complaint, okay, if something is found as a wrong, you treat as a non-complaint and remediate, fix it, okay,
Okay.
automate it, okay.
Uh-huh.
Those things are,
Mm-hmm.
possible with the complaints manager, okay. And maybe you
Okay.
are aware or not, but you know that McAfee antivirus, semantic antivirus, but there is from Microsoft also there is antivirus. So in the year 2005, actually, there's a drastic changes to happen. There's a something company called Endpoint Protection. Okay, this company
Mm-hmm.
was there was a company called antivirus company called Endpoint Protection. This company got acquired by Microsoft. Then that was part of System Center family. Okay, I did not talk
Okay.
about System Center family. I'll talk on it. But in general, okay, the antivirus also part of SCCM. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
the role
Okay.
is, oh no, that's called an endpoint protection. You have endpoint protection. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so you can, go for endpoint protection. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so these are all the features. Apart from these, you have many other features. Okay, let me, recall some of them. Okay, there's something called, self-service portal. Say example, there's a user, he wanted Amazon experience. Say example, there are softwares are available. Okay, he want to log
Okay.
into that, website called company portal. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
let him, buy whatever the softwares he want. And once he, applied for that software, it goes for approval to someone. Okay, and that fellow will approve. Okay, then automatically it gets installed. So there is no activity here. The user, we are empowering the user, right? Here in this case, we empower the user. We force the user to,
Mm-hmm.
go to that. We educated the user to go to that portal, self-service portal, and choose whatever the softwares you want. If that software is a licensed one, hey, this
Okay.
license can be approved by this XYZ person because This is the cost involved. Okay, let him
Yeah.
approve. Once it is approved, automatically it gets a notification, or it gets, along with the notification, it gets installed. So there is no local help desk team involved here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah. Say example, there are critical business critical servers are there. Okay, these are the business critical servers. Okay, so these servers are in a you have a SCCM server also. So in your SCCM server, your for example your security team says that KB 90125 is a mandatory patch. If you don't have this patch on your servers, it is
Mm-hmm.
exposing a major vulnerability. Okay, so hackers would take a control. So get this patch to be installed as soon as possible. So
Okay.
you know that SCCM patches. So you pushed
Mm.
all dispatches to everywhere. But unfortunately,
Mm.
for some or other reason, this mission not patched, this mission not patched, this mission not patched. Okay,
Okay.
for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, maybe disk space issue. Okay, or
Okay.
it's not available, patch not available, or
Mm.
patch is not able to install. So now what happened? So you are actually exposing as a danger, right, to the outside. It's not as per the security team. You're not complained. So I want these things to be taken out with a blue line or pink line, okay, or purple. Let me take as a black. I want these black also not compatible here, dark. I want these to be isolated. What
Okay.
I wanted to isolate. That means when I say isolated, there is a user has to this is a file server example. Okay, files to
Okay.
be access. I don't allow this machine to connect. Okay, also this machine doesn't want to communicate with this machine. I don't allow. This machine want to connect with this machine. I don't allow. It can only communicate with my SCCM server. Okay,
Okay.
and just install that patch. That's it. Once you install that patch, I'll check it. Okay, if found it's
Mm-hmm.
good, then I will allow them to communicate with everyone. So
Okay.
this is called system health validator. Okay,
Okay. System.
okay, you
Okay.
have these kind of capabilities. Okay,
Okay.
so you have a machine. Okay, say example,
Mm-hmm.
you have a machine here. You have a machine here. You have a machine here. This is Dell. This is Lenovo. This is maybe HP. All are shutdown state.
Okay.
Okay, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe some machines are on state. Okay,
Okay.
but you want to update BIOS. Okay, or you
Okay.
want to do some changes in the BIOS. Okay, system is power off state. I said power off, power off,
Okay.
power on, off. Different models, complexity.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you can still change
Mm-hmm.
the changes in the BIOS. I repeat, you have powered off the machine, still you can change the changes. Okay, to the BIOS. You can
Okay.
update, you can change the password, you can do first boot priority to something else. All these are possible
Okay.
with the out of band services.
Out of balance.
Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so you have you have many things actually with the SCCM. These all are the some of the features. Okay, as we go through it, okay, I can talk more on SCCM. Okay,
Sure. Okay.
clear. What's the time there?
It's 10.
It's 10. Okay, 10 20 will close. Okay,
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
hello.
Yeah. No problem.
No problem, right? Yeah. So let's talk the vocabulary. Okay, I talked about the features. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what SCCM can do, I talked about it. Okay, now let's talk about the vocabulary. I don't actually I don't normally teach SCCM without the vocabulary. If you want to learn maybe in a French, you should go to the alphabets and then come to the words. Then you can start reading the books, right? Similar fashion
Yeah.
here for me. So I
Mm-hmm.
would talk some meaningful words. Okay, the first thing
Okay.
is SCCM server, the word. Okay, so
Okay.
it's a simple definition. SCCM server is nothing but wherever you install SCCM software, okay, server software, that's called
Mm-hmm.
SCCM server. Clear?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay, then
Mm-hmm.
there's a word called site. Okay,
Site. Okay.
that's a headline.
Okay.
Okay, for that there's notes. What is a site? Site is nothing but SCCM software. Wherever it is installed, we call it as a site. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Okay.
So these sites has actually, one second. So site actually has wherever you have the SCCM software installed, that's called site. Sites has types in it.
Okay. Sites are types, two types. Okay.
Okay, so how
Okay.
many types? Actually, there are only two. How many?
Okay. Two.
But I did draw third one. I'll talk later. Okay, in the
Okay.
past there used to be
Mhm.
three. Okay, now
Okay.
one is a primary, other one is the secondary. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
here
Okay.
the green one is actually CAS or it's central site. Any?
Central site.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk on it. Types. I did not talk about what is primary site.
Okay.
I did not talk. Okay, now I have to
Okay.
clear what is secondary site. Now I have to talk what is primary site, then I'll talk on what is secondary site, then I'll talk on what is CAS, then I'll talk on central site.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
next word would be the primary site. I talked about sites. Okay, so
Okay.
now
Mm-hmm.
site has a types. Now let's go to the primary site.
Prime. Okay.
Okay, what's a primary
Mm-hmm.
site? So primary site is the site which has read and write permission to the database. Okay, to the
Okay.
SQL server,
Read and write.
read and
Okay.
write. Okay, and all
Mhm.
the features in it, all the
All the
features can be
features.
enabled in primary site. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let me take secondary site also. Side by side is important here. Okay, so secondary
Okay.
site, you can't enable all the features, limited. Okay,
Okay.
we talked about the
Mm-hmm.
features for your information
Yes.
already, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, the primary site always reports to CAS. Okay,
Okay.
that is nothing but your central site. Any?
Or central site. Yeah.
Okay, or a central site. So central
Mm-hmm.
should be in a bracket. CAS is the right word. Okay, from
Okay.
2012 onwards, there is no
Okay.
central. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
got it? So now,
Yeah. Yeah.
now with the secondary site, always reports to your
Mm-hmm.
primary site. Secondary
Okay.
reports to primary site,
Um,
right?
yeah.
So now let's have a look on it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know now what is a primary, what is secondary. Okay, now let me talk about
Okay.
the CAS and
Mm-hmm.
uh, also the central. Okay, CAS is the new type of site which started from 2012. Okay,
Okay.
earlier
Mm-hmm.
there is no CAS. Okay, we used to
Okay.
set up like this. So old, this is old. Remember
Okay.
old, write down as old style. Old.
Okay.
Okay, old style
Mm-hmm.
is you have a site here, you have another site,
Okay.
you have another site, you may have another
Okay.
site, you may have another site, you may have another site. Okay,
Okay.
or here also you may
Mm-hmm.
have another, right? So
Yes.
everywhere you have a different site. Clear?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Now this can be a primary. That I mean, if based on this can be only secondary, right? Secondary cannot have another secondary site. You can write down that
Yes.
it cannot have.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, only primary can have primary.
Yes.
So that means primary can report to another primary site. Old, this is an old. Okay,
Old one. Uh-huh.
okay,
Okay.
so this is, so what would happen, say example, this is yours. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
is in
Mm-hmm.
also yours. Okay,
Okay.
this is in UK, this is in
Mm-hmm.
India. Okay, this is in
Okay.
Hyderabad, this is in
Okay.
Chennai, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is in maybe Madurai. Okay,
Okay.
so what would happen, you created a file, SCCM package. So
Okay.
from here to data transfers here yours. US to,
Okay.
it goes to India, India to
Okay.
Hyderabad, Hyderabad to
Mhm.
Chennai. Okay, Chennai
Okay.
to, if you have a client, okay, in Madurai or in Chennai, it will go there. In Hyderabad, if you
Okay.
have a client here, it will go here.
It will go.
Okay,
Mhm.
what if this down? You are impacting for Hyderabad and Chennai.
Yeah.
Same case, if you impact it here, it's a critical part now,
Okay. Uh-huh.
right? So
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
old style. Now, new style is, okay, the top level one also in the old style, it is also primary side, right? Everywhere
Primary
it's
set.
a
Yeah.
primary, top level
Mhm.
also. So what is the central side? Central side is nothing but a primary, a top level primary side. Any
Okay.
top level
Top level.
primary side. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about CAS. So with the old design, the problem is you have to pay license. Any for primary site
Pay
ante
like.
you have to pay license. So in a primary site you
Okay.
can write you have to pay license additional cost for the installing primary site. So what
Primary.
happened in
Okay.
the old design? Okay, you have
Mm-hmm.
as many as primaries. Okay,
Okay.
so you are also paying here.
Yeah.
Now it is free. CAS is free.
Free. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, why they released as CAS as free? I'll tell you. In the past, as a best practices for the top level site, we don't assign any clients. Any good SCCM engineer never assigns any clients to the central site. The reason this is already have a roles. ఏమని roles ఉన్నాయి ఇలా ఎన్ని ప్రైమరీ సైట్స్ ఉన్నాయో సెకండరీ సైట్స్ ఉన్నాయో వీటన్నిటిని మేనేజ్ చేయాలి వాటి క్లయింట్స్ ని కూడా ఇదే మేనేజ్ చేయాలి రైట్ టాప్ లెవెల్లో సో ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్
Oh.
హ్యాస్ ఏ రోల్ right
Okay.
in the old design
Yeah.
old okay
Yeah.
so I'm not going to assign additional role to SCCM
Okay.
server ikkada. So that's why we don't
Okay.
use to design. So by seeing all these Microsoft, why should I take extra money from here? So let's decommission this and release as a CAS.
Yeah.
So they
Okay.
released as a CAS. So now you know what is CAS. CAS is a top level, okay, which is a free. Okay, you have to
Free.
pay primary site, okay,
Okay.
and also
Okay.
they change the design changes. The design changes is you cannot have a primary site to primary site like this. In the
Okay.
old design you have, but now you don't
Yeah.
have. So the new design is you have a CAS, you have a primary, Sunflow,
Understand.
Sunflow model.
Okay.
So you have only primaries.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
What if you want a secondary? You can't report directly secondary here. This is not possible
Yeah. You
because
have
this is free, right?
this.
And
Yeah.
secondary site also free. Any? So I have here
Secondary.
secondaries.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary also a free. I can have like
Free.
this secondaries.
Okay.
అర్థమైందా?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can have CAS can have a primary can have a secondary, but
Secondary.
secondary cannot
Have gas. Report to gas.
cannot go like this. It is not possible. The blue line,
Yeah.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and also
Yeah.
primary to primary. This is not possible.
Yeah.
Earlier it is
Okay.
possible. Okay, clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Now in a vocabulary section, I did also a little bit
Mm-hmm.
talk about the uh, designing side. Now you know what is
Okay.
primary, what is secondary, what is CAS. Okay,
Yeah.
what is central.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, now let's talk
Yeah.
about mm, the site I talked about. Every site will have a code called site code. Isn't it?
Site code.
So every site will be represented as a every site will be represented with a code. Okay,
Code.
a
Okay.
unique code. Isn't it?
Okay.
A
Or
unique
site
code
code.
called
Unicode.
site.
Yeah. Okay.
So example you have here, you have here, you have here, you have here. So example this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Okay.
So everything will have a code, a meaningful
Yeah.
code. So most of the companies they go for CAS as a CAS, but that is not a good practice. What if in future your company acquired some other company that they also have a CAS? You can't combine it, right? So
Yeah.
best practices give it another name.
I,
Okay, the way we did is the
Unicode.
wrong way,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
CAS as we have what we have given is wrong, right? So
Okay.
either way, the code would be represented. So let me draw a meaningful code. Okay. Say example, I'm calling as this as CAS still,
Okay.
but I'm
Mm-hmm.
calling as a P, that's a primary
Yeah.
site 1. I have
Okay.
another one called PO2. I have another site called PO3.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm supporting, okay, US, okay, Asia Pacific, okay, EMEA.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So if I have Middle East, okay, I may have PO4 site. And
Yeah.
look at my US, I have
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 different locations in US, okay, like California. I'll say this is one, right? So I'll say
Yeah.
100 site. This is 101. This is
This one or
102.
two.
This is
Okay.
103. Look at my design. It
Okay.
looks very meaningful, right? So
Each side has
Asia
a
Pac,
different unique. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, no. These are my secondary sites,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So you can design in such a way, okay, when you're planning.
Okay.
Getting me right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting it.
So now you know that the every site will have a site code. So what will happen? Why? What is the use of the site code? So what would happen is
Mm-hmm.
any information, any changes would happen. Say example, you created a package here. Since the package, okay. I've not
Okay.
talked about the package, but
Yeah.
for some time that package, right? So package you
Yeah.
created MS Office package. When you
Mm-hmm.
send it, it actually sends not on the machine name. It actually sends based on the code. Okay,
Code. Okay.
clear? And the client is there
Oh,
here. So this client always try to
oh,
communicate with this code, not the server name. Okay.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's why the code is very important in this situation. So what is
Okay.
site code? And
Yeah.
for your information, there are few codes are reserved. Okay, that codes you
Okay.
cannot use it. Okay, clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. For now, now site code, site types.
Okay.
Okay.
Side types. Yeah. Yeah.
So there is if you roles. Okay, there is something called site. Let me put it in this way. Uh, So let me put in this way. So if you see here, the site code is this. Okay, type is primary. It was showing, right?
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
post to this, every site in it
Every site.
will have a some roles. You see here, roles are there,
Okay.
right? So
Six.
now site
Okay. Okay.
roles or
Mm-hmm.
site server. We sometimes we call it as site server. Also, we call it as site system. Don't confuse. Okay. Okay. That is
They are different, right?
I'll tell you. Okay. So
Okay.
write down as
Mm-hmm.
site server. Okay.
Okay.
Also site system.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So there is a word called site system and site server. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So if okay,
Mm-hmm.
if any of the roles were enabled, okay, one of
Okay.
this becomes okay. Say
Okay.
example, oh, it's moved. Okay. Let me tell you what is site system. If you enable any of the roles, okay, I've not talked about the roles, but assume that you have some roles, okay, like as I said earlier, management point for only policies, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
that, if you have any roles, if you enable that roles, it becomes as a site system.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Once you enable the roles, it will become site system. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So one other
Okay.
one is if you enable any of the not the role but the components. Say example, SQL server is there. That's one of the component, right? Then site server.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I would say don't confuse with these names. Think that okay, this is nothing but your
Okay.
SCCM server, right? Nothing
Okay.
but a
Yeah. Yeah.
SCCM servers, right? You enable roles or you enable some of the features, okay, of SCCM server. This is coming from SCCM server, so don't confuse with by seeing these names. It's a SCCM
Okay.
server at the end,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Now let me
Yeah.
talk about roles. Okay, there
Mm-hmm.
are actually 20 plus roles. How many roles you have?
Okay. 20 plus.
Roles. Okay, so we talk about all those roles, okay, but there are core roles, at least the minimum core roles 5 actually, but now it became as 3. Okay, let it be. But there are
Okay.
few roles that roles are important to function some features. Say example, as I said earlier, one of the feature called asset intelligent, right? I talked about asset intelligent,
Yeah.
right? So asset
Mhm.
intelligent, to work that you need to enable a asset intelligent related role. I talked about reports
Okay.
as a feature, right? To work reports, you need
Yeah.
to enable reporting point role. Like that, you have
Okay.
some roles, okay?
Mhm.
So let's talk about the roles, minimum roles, okay?
Okay.
The minimum role law, first one would be management point, okay?
Okay.
What
Okay.
is management? In short, we call it as MP, okay?
Then,
MP is nothing but okay, MP has now what happened is with the latest version of 2012 it has earlier we used to have SLP as another role which is giving the site code ene
side code.
ఎవరికి clients కి
Clients. Yeah.
ఓకేనా ఇప్పుడు ఏమైందంటే అది
Mhm.
కూడా బిల్ట్ ఇన్ అయిపోయింది ఎలా ఎంపీలా
Envelope. Okay. Okay. Okay.
బిల్డ్ అయిపోయింది ఓకే
Yeah.
సో now you have SLP also this role. So what MP does now, it gives you site code,
Uh, side
okay,
code.
also
Yeah.
policy,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
so that the clients will get the latest things from directly from SCCM server.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Second thing, okay, second one, okay, we're talking about the DP. That's called distribution point. So DP is nothing but your UNC shared folder, a share folder. All the software
Mhm.
dump and the patches would be stored here. So client will
Oh,
download from this folder.
okay.
Okay, that's a DP.
It's just you want to share folder. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
got it right. Now
Yeah.
let's have a look on it other roles. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
in other roles, okay, you have software update point. So this is a role for patch management. It will be used. Okay,
Okay.
for patching.
Software.
Okay, this will be used. Where do you install this? Wherever you have WSS. So if what if I don't want to install on my same server, you install WSS in some other server like we did earlier,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And enable this role. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
clear? So for
Yeah.
reports, to get the reports,
Mhm.
you have reporting point. So
Okay.
how do you enable this role? You need to install SQL server with a reporting point feature. We did selected right while installation.
Yeah. I don't.
Wherever you install that feature, there you should be choosing. So it's not the same one actually, right? It's not the same. We don't want to install everything on the same machine. In case, okay, in case if you want to have SQL in a separate box, we install there this
Mhm.
reporting point role. Okay, na?
Okay.
There's another thing called OBT. OPT is okay. That's out of band service point. No idiots companies using this. Okay, nobody is using this. Okay, what is the
Okay.
use of the OBT? It changes the bias.
Getting the BIOS even if the machine is
uh,
whether it's on or off.
so so much risky thing, right? If one
Okay.
hack happens, you screw up
Mm-hmm.
everything. Okay,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is
Mm-hmm.
not the actually built-in feature of SCCM. This is coming from Intel. Okay, since the
Okay.
Microsoft lost, okay, Microsoft have
Mm-hmm.
two girlfriends. One is Intel and Dell. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
Intel has developed this OBT.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me 5 minutes time. Okay, meantime, you just go through it. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Satish. I'm back. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Intel. So Intel has developed a solution for this because they manufactured all the motherboards during that time, right? So they gave the Intel OBT. Okay. So you can also
Okay.
use this as a separate feature if you download it from OBT. But most of the companies they don't allow this to go for it. Okay. So
Okay.
there is another very similar. Okay, so example, this OBT also does what another feature called, if a machine is powered off, you can power on. Okay, so the same thing
Okay.
also, one of the feature in the features list, you can also write down something called wake on LAN. Okay,
Okay.
so the features LAN. So SCCM has the capability to wake up the machine. So you powered off the machine, automatically machine can be powered on state. It can just it sends that there is something called magic packet. You can write down the packet name is called magic packet. All the engineering students can develop that magic packet. So the
Okay.
packet, if you send that, okay, it shows that power, automatically system ops. Okay,
Okay.
so that's the magic packet. Okay, when I say power off, not the switch is connected, but shutdown state. So there's the power is still connected, but still the motherboard is getting the power supply, but it is in off state,
Mhm.
right? So it can powered on. Okay,
Okay.
if you send the magic pipe. So wake
Mhm.
on LAN is another feature which I have now missed out. Like that, we would missing many of things. Okay, which would discuss completely during this course. Okay, so
Okay.
this is one of the
Yeah.
feature. So that's called OBT is another feature, another role. Okay, so this we talked about the
So
management
before
point.
that,
Hello.
did you say any future about next? What was the last one you said? Last future next to out of band service
Wake
point?
on LAN.
Beacon. Okay.
Wake up. Come on, wake up.
Okay.
Don't sleep.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, wake on LAN. That's called
Okay.
we short called wall. Okay,
Okay. Yeah. Mhm.
so there's another thing called a fallback status. So say example, we have been telling very extensively, like SCCM is damn good software. It can push remotely softwares for hundreds of machines or hundred thousands of machines, right? But what
Mhm.
if this is only possible if you have an agent, right?
Yeah.
If there is no agent, not
We can't do
possible,
anything.
right? So now the
Yeah.
question comes, can I push the agent also remotely? If there is no, say example, there's a mission which doesn't have which doesn't have agent, can I push that agent itself remotely? Yes, you can do that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
agent installation also can be done remotely. Okay, the question is
Mhm.
here, what you push to 100,000 machines, okay, which is in Indian 1 lakh. Okay, what if how
Okay.
many machines failed, for what reason it has failed? Okay, you should know it, right?
Okay.
So that can be
Yeah.
tracked if you enabled,
Uh-huh.
okay, a role called fallback status point.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. Got it.
right, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Got it. Got it.
you can write down the meaningful uh, on your own understanding way for all these roles, which role is for what purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah.
Okay, next thing.
Mhm.
Next thing is, see, nowadays what happened is the users are more empowered, where they're not just sitting on one device. They may be running on a mobile device, or maybe some mobile device. So in that case, say it can be iOS, or it can be
Android.
Google Android, right? So can I
Yeah.
manage these devices? Can I push some software which my company developed? Okay, or can I restrict them by having some control? Say example, this user lost, he configured his company data in this. I want to get inventory, what he's doing, or maybe what kind of device make it is, or maybe I want to push some software, okay, to this
Okay.
machine, I mean to this
Mhm.
mobile device altogether, or or I want to wipe this machine because the user lost or he left the company. Okay, I
Yeah.
want to wipe this machine, the device completely. Okay, the mobile device.
Okay.
So it is possible.
Okay.
Okay, so for that
Mhm.
you need to have the enrollment points. Okay, so these are the
And
two roles I would say. Okay, so mobile
okay.
enrollment points. So this is possible, but this is uh, not plainly possible because Microsoft giving a different tools altogether. Okay, one is the Intune. Okay,
Okay.
so Intune is okay, Intune is the cloud. This SCCM will die in next 3 years maximum. Okay, that's the death date
Okay.
for SCCM. Then it goes to the Intune. Okay, everything, all whatever you are learning here, that has to be upgraded to Intune. Okay, so
Okay.
the Intune have a connector now in SCCM. Okay, so with
Okay.
that, whatever you are currently talking about with SCCM, that all is possible, and it's a cloud-based solution. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
Intune is more capable than SCCM for managing the mobile devices. So here
Okay.
with the devices, you can't much manage with SCCM, but Intune, with Intune you can do it everything with the mobile devices. And nowadays
Okay.
everything is moving to the mobile devices. So Intune is only the new baby for you. Okay.
Okay.
And next thing is endpoint protection. I did already talked about it. It's antivirus role. Okay.
Mhm.
And I talked about the distribution point. I talked about certificates also similar thing, for your mobile devices, all those things. Okay, and asset intelligent is the feature. If you want to enable asset intelligent, you need to have the sync point. So that what happens is, say example, I'll give you one more example on asset intelligent. Say example, you you got AutoCAD on your machines. Okay, so
Mhm.
by having AI sync, okay, AI sync is another m- update server in Microsoft. So it will actually AutoCAD, if AutoCAD is installed, it knows that where is a shortcut, what are the registry keys, what is the exe name, all those things, and that information it should pull up to here. Okay,
Okay.
and it has to analyze so that it says that hey, this is AutoCAD installed. Okay, so something like
Okay.
that to do. Okay, AI sync is the useful. So asset intelligent only works if you enable this AI sync, and these two are shopping experience like Amazon. Okay, these are the
Okay.
features and the roles. Okay, and respected to that roles.
Okay.
Okay, and
Okay.
we get some other roles also. Okay, if you see here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15, and here 16. Okay, sorry, this one
Yeah.
16 17. Okay, and 18.
Okay.
Okay, another roles would come when you have some other features. We'll see later point. Okay, all of them. Okay, most
Okay.
of them at least. Okay, and state migration point, I did not talk about it, but it is used in the operating system deployment. Say example, Windows 7 to Windows 10, you want to migrate.
Okay.
Okay, but
Mhm.
Windows 7,
Yeah.
the user has his Aishwarya Rai photo on his desktop, or his critical files, all those things, that as this should come to Windows 10.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Okay, so because he's not asking you to upgrade Windows 10. Okay, so it is your job to upgrade. So your role to upgrade the data. So that can be done with the state migration points.
Okay.
Okay, we
Got it.
would be in depth doing that operating system deployment because the market is more into the OSD. Okay, the jobs also
Mm.
mostly into the OSD side. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
it for the role side.
Okay.
uh, okay, now you can write down some other words. uh,
Mhm.
Collections. Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Collections.
yeah, collections.
Mhm.
Collections are in a group of computers or users or objects to see. We create a collections. Okay,
Okay. Group of computers or something.
or users
Computers.
objects to see. Logically we would create a collection. Okay, and
Okay.
there's something called WMI, Windows Management Instrumentation. I'll talk in next
Mhm.
class. I'm sorry, and that takes one day.
No.
Okay,
Mhm.
and yeah, to be honest, it's been late for you. We'll continue later. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. But I'm not coming tomorrow. Okay. Go through it.
Yeah. So
Okay. Go
tomorrow and
through.
day after tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 days. Okay. I would, confirm you on for the Saturday, Sunday, because I doubt on Saturday, because I would be going to the remote area. So definitely I will not come on Friday night. I'll only come on Saturday. Okay. That means Saturday
Yes.
morning we have a class, so which is not possible for me. So in your
Okay.
Saturday, which is on Sunday, there is a possibility of class. That means 3 days, I would say, at least.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
but anyway, we are going to
I'll-
do it again, this, and we will do it from the same place.
Okay.
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 Okay.